Hey, Brett.
Brett. That's great.
I can't get.
Hey, shipmate.
Hello, everyone.
Good evening. Lieutenant Commander Doug Thornton, retired here.
Hey, look at that. What's up, Doug?
I brought the booze.
Nice. Nice. I love the booze. Doug, how you doing, man? Good to see you.
You too, Mike, Elizabeth. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Sorry, I have to work, guys. I don't really have a choice.
It's all right. I completely understand. What's up, shipmate Austin? Seaman?
How you doing?
Youngest?
Human recruit.
Oh, Seaman recruit.
Fireman recruit.
Oh.
Not yet.
You got a fireman there. Commander Maslanka, nice to see you, sir.
Mr. Little, how are you, sir? Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Looking sharp there.
Have you
And
ever
the lovely bride to your left.
You.
This is my XO from Iraq.
Oh, hello, sir. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Coming.
Good to have you.
Oh, geez, I was honored to be asked. I can only stick around till 8 o'clock though, because I am headed out. I have a date. So
Nice, sir. Nice.
Ooh, a
Yeah.
date.
you know, once in a while, a squirrel finds a nut, right?
I like it. I like it. That's good stuff.
I think if you shaved, Bill, you might find a nut more often. I'm just saying.
Yeah, very well, Mike.
Good to see you, brother. How you been?
You too, yourself.
Living the dream, baby, every day.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Do you guys know each other?
Yeah, back in the day.
Our paths have crossed somewhere in the past a couple of times, I think.
Yep.
God, Brett, this guy right here, he was my XO in Iraq, and it was the best time when he was around.
Oh, well, thanks, Mike. I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, Brett, I'll tell you the real stories later, though.
Little, if I'm going to have a drink with you, I need to have it now. So what are we doing a shot of?
All right, so I've got some grog here, and it is basically a Mai Tai, so whatever you want it to be. The lovely Mrs. Corate is here. She's dressed up. I love Brett's wearing his plates.
I know, it's awesome.
Yeah, she works at the VFW in Oregon.
It's awesome.
So
All right. Yeah, for laughing at people in DD 214.
how about all of our people?
That too. Oh God, I'm not that young anymore.
Did you take a shot over there?
It only hurts for a second.
Yeah, you'll get over it. You'll get over it. So,
We have a World War II guy here tonight. It's too bad I couldn't get him to speak for you.
Oh, that's all right. That's all right.
What?
Wait till I stand up. You guys are gonna love this. So
No, not the one in the beard, the one in the hat. The guy that told me that I was only in
Austin, what are
Afghanistan
you
for
guys
morale.
doing down there? So Austin just graduated boot camp. He's my junior sailor here.
That's my baby.
I'm gonna be giving him a gift. I served with his mom in Afghanistan.
That's exciting.
I see Captain Stiegel has showed up from the Naval Order of the United States.
Hello, Michael. Thank you very much for inviting me. Glad to be here.
Sir, it is always an honor. I missed being around with you all the time. So
Me too. You have lots to add. So, thank you.
So is this your first virtual dining in, sir, or dining out, sir?
Yes, it is, and I'm looking forward to it. I think we should do this more often, don't you?
So I'm thinking that if this goes over well, maybe we could patent
Who's a
this
sailor?
at the Naval
thank you.
Order and then get
I
people
signed your paycheck.
more often.
We signed your Marine paychecks. Oh, sorry guys. Sorry. Hold on. Sorry.
I'm gonna mute her if I can. Okay, so I gotta make Brett a admin here.
I was just going to remind you about that.
I think so.
So how's everyone doing this evening?
Good. How are you? Congratulations, too. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Mhm. We're good. Where are you joining us from?
Chicago, Illinois.
Great Lakes.
Great Lakes. Long time ago.
So my wife is actually a Navy veteran. She just made chief in the Coast Guard. So she'll pin in 2 weeks as a chief petty officer. But she was
Congratulations.
and she was an ABH also. Yeah.
Thank you.
Actually, we're going to be giving her a cutlass tonight.
Woohoo.
Pretty excited.
A little early.
I had to have something to cut the cake with, so why not buy a freaking sword, right?
I think he just wanted an excuse to have a sword.
You know, it's a good thing to have an excuse. Otherwise, you just have no excuse and you go out and buy a sword.
Right, right.
I did want to introduce one of my best buddies. He's MMFA Wood.
Nice to meet you. Thanks for being here.
Nice meeting you.
Thank you so much for
Meet you,
coming to my
gents.
ceremony, man. Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. It was a long 18 years.
But made it.
So what's on the agenda next in your career, Mike?
So I'm actually the executive director of the Chief Warrant and Warrant Officers Association of the United States Coast Guard. And I will be leading that organization until I decide I want to retire, I think. So pretty happy where I'm at with them.
Fantastic.
A lot less stressful of a job and just something that really makes me happy. So
You mean having your hands on Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi wasn't stressful enough for you?
not at all. Not at all. That was like, it's like cakewalk when I think about all the warrant officers I got to deal with. So in fact, I know one guy is laughing at that comment because the Master Chief Petty Officer of the Coast Guard just joined us. And I think he's a little indifferent on my take.
How are you, Master Chief?
Doing good. Doing good. How are you?
Good, very good. Nice to see you.
Oh, it's great to see you too, Liz.
So everybody should call her Chief as much as possible while he's here.
No.
That way he can make it up to her later.
No.
Right, Chief?
I'm not saying anything.
It's not a good move.
He doesn't want to listen to me though, because he knows.
The chief is gonna send you to the couch tonight.
That happens a lot more than you think. There's my Aunt Kathy and my Uncle David. Thank you very much for being here.
Hey, Michael. Hey, Liz.
How are you guys?
Doing good.
Pretty good.
See ya.
Good to see you.
Good to see you guys.
You guys are looking good.
Thank you.
Thanks.
It's an excuse to dress up. It's nice.
There you go. And congratulations to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Exciting. Thank you.
Mr. Hart, thanks for joining us.
Thank you. As soon as I could get back to where I was.
Nice, nice. Barry, I love it. Are you celebrating Christmas over there?
Yes, I am.
Red tablecloth.
Love it. Love it.
He's fancy.
Oh, nice.
That's all I got.
Do you even have
We
napkins?
appreciate the color coordinated mouse with the tablecloth. That's
Yes,
about the
tablecloth. And I do have the china,
That's
Mike.
violation.
I do have the china and the silverware out for you, and the tankard.
Love it. Love it.
But the
We need to
tankard's
get some
empty, so
tankards.
I'm gonna have to go get something. I'll be back.
Senior Chief Ramirez, thanks for coming. An honor.
Yeah, thanks. No problem. Still trying to get this set up. We just got home from running errands with the kids.
All right. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Some,
I can't get the audio. I mean, the video.
there's usually a button. You never know. I don't ever know.
Yeah, I know. It's always fun and games.
This is a closed meeting and press are not allowed. If you're a member of the press, please remove yourself at this time.
There we go.
There we go. It's just Leo.
Hold on. Let me get my recorder out. Let me get my Twitter handle ready. I got it all set up here. So
Great. This is gonna be good. We are gonna go viral, and I'm gonna end up in jail.
yeah. Wait, you said you're in jail? Hold on. Let me send that out right away. Let me write that up. Hold on, that's what I heard.
This is great. That's great. If you don't know, Leo Shane has been a good friend of mine. He actually told my story in Stars and Stripes for my shipmates that I've lost to suicide. And we have been great friends since. And I was honored whenever he told me he was going to be able to make it. So,
Yeah, and being the good responsible reporter I am, I put this on my calendar a week ago and I remembered to RSVP about 3 hours ago. So, you know, I appreciate it. I really wanted to be here and of course missed the most important part of RSVPing. So
that's okay. That's okay. I'm glad you came. I'm glad you came. David, I love your grog.
Michael, if you'll notice, this is my official grog glass. If you can make it out.
Nice. I love it. I love it.
And of course, being as how my father was from Kentucky, and that's where I now call home, I'm drinking our, Kentucky drink, bourbon.
Nice. David and I have been friends in the Boy Scouts for many years, and I'm always happy whenever he's around. So good to see you, buddy. Paul, thanks for showing up on time. Appreciate that. I never know with you. Never know.
I was gonna say on time. Come on now. Could you make it any more complicated to get here?
And your internet's working. I love the shirt.
Yep.
Yes.
That's nice.
Yes. There we go.
Love the shirt.
Very nice.
That is.
But if we'll talk about minimum swag compared to you.
I was minimum. I wore my medals.
I like the medals. The medals look good.
Thanks, shipmate. Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
Jason,
Jason, this kid and his shipmate, they just graduated Navy boot camp like about a month ago.
Yep.
Oh, that's awesome. That is really.
I served in Afghanistan with their mother, who is also in the. She's down here waving at us.
That's terrific. Congratulations to both of you. That's quite an accomplishment, and I'm proud of you. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Trying to get the Master Chief House to Navy to come, but he was busy.
Man, Mike, how did you finagle to get the Master Chief of the Coast Guard here? Good gosh. I mean,
I've got one famous friend.
One. That's Paul Kingsbury. That's your one famous friend. And it damn sure ain't me. It's Paul.
I got one friend with a title. I don't know.
I claim Paul as my famous friend.
He is a famous friend. He's always like doing something. There was a time in the campaign when I could actually get a phone call like from the White House, but Paul would never take my phone calls. So that he's important.
that's not true. And activity doesn't translate to results necessarily. So,
are we allowed not to take your phone calls? I wasn't aware that was an option.
I'm gonna scratch that from the record. Leo will be blinding me.
Oh, I think I'm going to get at that in my remarks.
I'm sure you will.
Nice. This is gonna be fun. This is gonna be fun.
It's already fun.
Oh, I know, right? Yeah. So the Madam President is nervous as heck, so you guys got to give her a good time during this. So, but
giving her a good time is no problem. You on the other hand, you're going to catch hell.
Exactly. I'm going to monitor it, and I'm gonna allow it to happen, right?
Yep.
Hey,
so Brett, go ahead.
Hey, Michael, what's the hammer for?
We don't have a gavel. It's an official plastic.
Oh,
my children are with us in spirit.
Okay, getting a little nervous. I saw the hammer. I was like, oh, there's gonna be some torture in it.
And Mary kept stealing it from us earlier, and I was like, no, Mary, I really need that for later.
I had a kid's drill over here a minute ago, but I think my daughter took it with her downstairs. So,
Jason,
very official.
I don't believe he doesn't have a gavel. That guy has everything.
I'm surprised.
I don't believe he doesn't have a gavel either.
I mean, and he doesn't have a gavel. Yeah, whatever.
Well, let me tell you about
Captain
that.
Convening here.
So I used to work at this company as their legislative director, and customarily you would get an award when you leave that company. This guy, 4 years, no gavel. Tonight we got toys. So sorry.
In the Navy, we would say, that's a hammer. This is a drill.
Oh, I had a drill.
There was one.
There was
And
definitely.
there's new batteries in it.
David, can I borrow your hammer?
Oh,
Well,
there.
you know, that's what I'm saying. You're really going to use a hammer. This is a good wall hammer.
I'm sitting here wondering if this is a good idea. What are you guys going to teach my young junior sailor child tonight?
Wait, did you guys not get the memo that this was like a dining out?
Your
Us?
dad and Ann are having problems.
Y'all better grab some granola bars.
Well, wait, hold on. We got it. We got it. It's okay.
So Mike, what's the plan to who are all these people here that I don't know? I know, obviously I know Jason and you, but I don't think I know anyone else here.
Well, I'll tell you what, why don't everybody go around the horn? My parents are having trouble getting into this thing, so let me.
That's because you made it so easy to get in.
They zoomed for William's birthday.
We Zoom all the
I
time.
know, we zoom a lot.
Okay, go ahead and introduce yourselves. Let's start with Doug Thornton.
Good afternoon,
Yes, they
everybody.
are.
Good evening. Lieutenant Commander retired Doug Thornton. And my dog Killer. It's a guard dog. For Mike, so you can see it. Guard, U.S. Coast Guard, dog,
Love it.
guard, dog.
I think you just got the McPog excited.
Yes.
I did. You did. You did. I'm very excited.
I have one too. I just don't have the thing around.
Captain Corrid.
My name is Brett, call sign Bluto, and Mike and I go back to when I was still wearing the uniform as Director of Legislative Affairs, and he and I were slaying some dragons on the hill. So it's been a long time. I will also be your Mr. Vice for the evening.
Yeah, Commander Masalanga.
Bill Maslanka, Mike and I served together in Naval Provisional Battalion 5 in Camp Buka, Iraq. Retired Lieutenant Commander, call sign Sausage. And it's been an honor to be asked to come and enjoy the evening.
Mr. Seaman Recruit Austin.
Fireman recruit Rock Cole.
There you go.
Been in the Navy for like 5 minutes, but it's definitely an honor to be able to be here, just talking to everybody.
All right. Mrs. Corade.
You're muted, baby.
She did.
This is a common thing in our house.
I put my glasses on to see my computer. I am Mrs. Corade, AKA Bluto's wife, and it is an honor for me to be here and celebrating this with both of you. Thank you for having me.
Captain Stiegel.
Hello, everyone. My name's Captain Bill Stiegel, call sign Wild. Served on 10 ships at sea during the Cold War, from 74 to 04. I know Michael from his time at the AUSN in the chapter in Washington, D.C. Back to you, sir.
Absolutely. Kathy and David Henning.
I'm Kathy, and this is David Hennig. We're Michael's aunt and uncle, and we're real proud of him.
I hate to admit it, but we are.
Oh,
I think we'll be able to fix that with some of the stories tonight.
I'm ready. I'm ready for that
I'm
guy.
sure you probably can.
Mr. Hart.
I'm sorry, none of you joined the proper service. Some of us did. So officially as Major David Hart, United States Air Force, nuke them to the goal, shoot them all, let God sort them out. I served from 73 to 97. I met Michael in the Order of the Arrow Scouts. So we've known each other for a few years, but he met me after I got off active duty. And though I did my best to convince him to join the proper service, he of course didn't listen like most of the other teenagers. But I'm proud to see where he's at now. A little bit of luck, maybe he can do better.
Thank you.
Good luck, Michael.
Thank you, sir. Brother Barry.
Oh, no, I knew it'd be my turn sooner or later. Well, I've known Mike for a long, long time. I've found some really good pictures of him climbing masts. Let's just leave it at that for now. And I served with him in the Kentucky Lake Navy. How many years? 3 years?
3 years.
Nobody died. Thank goodness.
I've actually seen Barry sail a boat while he wasn't inside the sailboat. So we'll get to that later. Mr. Shane.
Come up.
Just call me Mr. Shane. That feels intimidating. Hey, I'm Leo Shane. I'm with Military Times. I've gotten the chance to work with Mike on quite a few different stories dealing with his background and some of the cases some of the causes he's advocated on. And as long as I got one of these, everything's off the record. So we're all good. Happy.
Paul.
Hey, Paul Kingsbury, retired Fleet Master Chief, currently co-director of outreach at the U.S. Naval Institute. So I'm the guest speaker. I got plenty to say about Mike, and I'll save my remarks for then. So good to see everyone.
Senior Ramirez.
I got it. Hey, good evening, everybody. Jorge Ramirez, current senior chief. I'm on the Ford right now. My wife, Melissa, met Mike through the ABMA, and we've kind of been active and still active with that. And just a pleasure to join everybody for this evening and celebration of Mike.
Thanks, Jimmy. Lieutenant Colonel
Hi, my name's Aniela Smansky, Lieutenant Colonel in the Marine Corps Reserve. And I have known Mike for, I don't even know how many years, other than we met doing mutual lobbying on the Hill when I was at MOA and he was at AUSN, and stayed fast friends ever since. Congratulations, Mike.
Thanks, Jimmy. MC Dunn, it is always a pleasure to see you. It's been too long. Last time I seen you.
It's an honor to be here
David
this
Robinson.
evening. I met Mike when I was at the Navy Memorial, and we've stayed in touch for quite a few years now. So it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. We were with David Robinson the last time we were together. That was awesome.
That's right.
He was so tall. Pictures were hard.
Good pictures, though.
Kent, you there? Chopper, you're muted. Still muted. Okay, we'll come back to Kent. Anne Marie Toth.
I am paying attention, I swear. I'm BM2, or formerly BM2 Toth. The young buck there belongs to me. I served with Michael in Afghanistan, and now I get veterans drunk.
Captain Ireland.
Where are you? I'll be there in 20 minutes.
Washington, get over here.
Hey, good evening, Chief Select Little and ABH2 Little. Congratulations to you, Liz, and Michael, congratulations to you. You both are looking mighty dapper there.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
sir.
All right, I'm gonna quickly introduce the rest so we get started here because we're running late here. So Kent Lisi, best friend from McLeansboro, was in my wedding. I'm always happy to have him here. Master Chief Mark Aguirre, who served with Liz and I on the Ronald Reagan. Master Chief, I'm looking forward to hearing from you here in a little bit. And then most importantly, my parents have finally arrived so we can get this festivity started. My father, John, and my mother, Ann. So thank you both very much for being here. So we're going to go ahead and kick this off. So let me share my screen. And then, hey, Brett, can you allow me to share my screen? I think I made you the host.
Kent, I think you have a hot mic in a windy area.
I got someone to cover for me so I can go outside.
Oh, yeah, nice.
All right.
Kent, it looks like there's a tornado behind you.
I'm outside. Trust me, there is no tornado here.
I'm at Lawrenceville, Illinois. It does get a little bit windy occasionally, but there is no storm coming.
Mike, I think you're gonna have to take host back because for some reason it's not giving me that as an option. I don't have all the standard host options here.
Oh, it's not allowing me to do that.
All right, I will give it to you then. Stand by.
Yeah, it wouldn't allow me to make you a co-host for some reason.
There you go. You got it.
Why can't I share my screen?
No, technical problems.
Okay, technical difficulties. It's not allowing me to share my screen, but that's okay. Hopefully you guys can hear this just fine, maybe. Oh, hey, Brett, you made the wrong guy the host.
Did I?
Yeah, you made the other screen the host. Say what?
I can't take it back. You're gonna have to go over there and get it.
Kent, can you mute your phone? Mute your mic? Kent, okay. No, don't turn off the video. Turn off the sound.
It's just the wind going there, Kent. It keeps on snagging the screen because of the wind kicks.
Oh, there's Captain David.
What do you think?
Snag.
No, I can get in.
Yeah.
Did you blow your cover?
All right, here we go.
There we go.
Air crews are manning up for the 2010 launch. The temperature is 84 degrees. The altimeter is 3019. It's time for all unnecessary personnel to clear the catwalks and the flight deck. All flight deck personnel get into the complete proper flight deck uniform. Helmets on and buckled. Sleeves rolled down. Goggles down. Check chocks, tie downs, and all loose gear about the deck. Check your pockets for FOD. Check all rotor clearances and prop arcs. Start all the go aircraft for the 2010 launch. Start them up.
I have heard chimes. I have heard bagpipes. I have heard just somebody yell, "Get your ass in here and sit down for dinner," to start off a dining in or a dining out. I have never heard that. That's awesome. If you guys aren't stoked and ready for an awesome night, you need to go Google that and watch it again. So if you would, charge your drinks. Okay, so we're about to kick off here. So charge your drinks. Make sure you got what you need. If you need to move about the ship to go get what you need, then do so now. And in about 30 seconds, Madam President, why don't you go ahead and open the mess and we will get kicked off. I just want to give 30 seconds so that people have time to actually get their drinks. You know, it's like, go get your drinks and then 2 seconds later, done.
Mr. Vice, request permission to leave the mess. My ride is here for my other engagement.
So as long as you promise you won't make more Bill Maslankas tonight, we're good.
Nope, there's only one.
Nice.
Commander, this is you, sir.
I owe you a drink, sir.
This is
Mike. Congratulations again, Elizabeth. Congratulations on making chief. It's been a pleasure, and I wish you both all the best and God's blessings on you and your future.
Thank you very much, sir. Thanks for making my life easy in Iraq and always sticking by us when we got home. Cheers to you, sir.
Thanks. God bless you guys.
Here.
Madam President, I recommend that we formally declare the mess opened.
Ladies and gentlemen, I declare the mess as formally opened.
And we're going to do colors virtually. Mike, you got that going?
Advance the colors. Ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem.
Anchors aweigh, my boys, anchors aweigh, anchors aweigh. Farewell to foreign shores, we sail at break of day. Through our last night on shore, cling to the foam, until we meet again. Here's wishing you a happy voyage. Away, my boys.
This beachfront Verbo is about to become part of an unforgettable vacation memory.
Are we done?
Retire the colors.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for the invocation.
Let us pray. Dear Lord, we come to you in prayer. We thank you for the many blessings you have given us. We thank you for the opportunity for us to get together virtually, congratulate, honor aviation boatswain mate handler, second class, petty officer, air warfare, surface warfare, Michael Joseph Little for his honorable discharge from the United States Navy. We ask that you continue to guide and protect Michael, his wife, and their family as they transition into the next chapter of their lives. We ask that you continue to watch over those that are at the tip of the spear and willing to put themselves in harm's way serving our great nation. We ask that you continue to bless those that are here tonight, as well as those that are unable to join us. We also ask your blessings on this meal that's been prepared for us. We ask that it be nourishing for our bodies, and we ask you to bless those that have prepared this meal before us. We ask this in Jesus' name. Amen.
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 Please be seated.
All right. So I know that we have an honored guest who's getting ready to depart because he has other commitments. So Madam President, I recommend that we take a quick moment and let the guest be recognized by the head table.
Thank you very much, Mr. Vice. At this time, I would like to welcome, Mike and I would like to welcome and introduce our special guest, one of our special guests, who took time out of his very busy schedule to be here today, just to support Mike and I and our family. My distinct honor to introduce a dear friend of our family and mentor of mine and Mike's, the 13th and current Master Chief Petty Officer of the Coast Guard. And my current McCog right now, Master Chief Jason Vanderheyden. So thank you very much for being here tonight. Both of us are very honored.
I'm honored to be with you. They're two of the finest leaders that have served in the military. Liz, I remember you being the enlisted person of the year for headquarters, and just very proud of you. And Michael, very diverse ways that you serve all military members, both on Capitol Hill and in veteran support organizations, and all the ways that you serve. And I can't, you always seem to find a new and innovative way to take care of people. I'm proud of you. And I look forward to advancing you to Chief Petty Officer of the United States Coast Guard. The next time I'm in Cape May, we won't miss the opportunity next time we are face to face. I already have the certificate drafted up and I'm ready to go with it. So just need to get in front of you. So proud of you for that. And you both are amazing. Liz, I can't wait to see you and to put anchors on, and I think you're going to get ceremonially advanced here, or maybe you already have. I'm
waiting on the official word, Master Chief. It should be April 9th, so in a couple weeks.
Awesome. Wonderful. Well, you will be an amazing chief, and I am very excited for you. So I just have to make sure the executive director of the Chief Warrant Officer Association doesn't hijack you to the wrong place. So other than that, we'll make sure, it's an honor to be with you. I am grateful for the opportunity, and I'm proud of both of you. Congratulations to both of you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Master Chief. Thank you.
Master Chief, I'm honored to have you here, McPog. It's always good to see you, and you've been a good mentor. And I'll never forget meeting you during the government shutdown and just being blown away by your the way you cared for your coasties, and it inspired me to want to do more, and it helped me push over that limit that we needed. So you've been a hell of a leader for the Coast Guard, and I'm looking forward to your next year or two here with us until you retire with Commandant. But Master Chief, it's an honor. I am looking forward to putting on anchors someday. And sir, to you.
Here's to you, Michael and Liz. My toast is to you. Thank you.
All right. So,
All right. Mr. Vice, test the meat and ensure it is edible.
Brett, I don't know how to tell you this, but I got this back today. I mean, I sent it to you, to the most excellent awesomeness ruler of the blue skies and conqueror of the seven seas, Mr. Vice, Capitan Brett Corey. And I even wrote in here, I swear there isn't meat in here. Seriously, I mean it. I don't know I don't know why they sent it back to me. You're muted, my friend. You're muted. Brett, you're muted. If someone tell...
That was the best joke of the night you all missed. Madam President, this is unreal. I can't believe that this has happened. Surely there must be something that can be done. I would recommend, Madam President, that you direct that this incredible injustice be resolved by some means. I mean, surely two soon-to-be chief petty officers sitting side by side. Between the two of you guys, you can come up with a creative solution to figure out how to resolve this. I would hide my face in shame too.
We're trying to come up with something.
It's not like everybody's waiting to eat dinner on this or
He
anything.
thinks it's gonna work.
Madam President.
Brett, listen. I used to play baseball.
Is that what you call it?
Pretty far.
Listen, I used to play baseball, and I really sucked at it. Like, they would throw me out in the outfield because no one else could play as bad as I can. But I think I remember how to throw a baseball. So
You're not going to distract everybody with stories of, glory days. I'm just saying.
I think it'll work. Are you? Listen,
That's a long way.
I want you to get ready like this, okay? Or just put one hand up. Just one hand up. Okay.
Like this?
I think we can do it. Okay, ready?
We'll see. That was pretty epic.
Nobody.
Holy cow. All right.
Does anyone want to toast to that?
Where's? I think there's supposed to be music right now. Pause.
I'm so distracted.
Okay.
Hold on.
Yeah, no.
Don't eat it.
Okay. Seriously, Mike?
Bell.
This beef is not suitable for human consumption.
I'm so embarrassed. Why did
I would be embarrassed as well. Oh, wait.
Like, I told you to take it out earlier.
I think
there's got to be something else in there, Brett.
Here we go. That looks like a nice piece of barbecue brisket right there.
Yeah, yeah.
Madam President, I declare this beef suitable for human consumption. Very suitable. So, Madam President, at this point in time, you would normally direct everybody to, or the meal to be served, but instead, I recommend we just invite everybody to eat.
Mr. Vice, I concur.
Very well. Please enjoy your meals. Ladies and gentlemen, while you're enjoying your meals, please do feel free to chat amongst yourselves, and anyone who may so desire may ask permission to address the mess, to entertain with a joke, a limerick, a ditty. Also during the meal, I recommend and request that all of the members of the mess and guests pay particular attention and take note of any violations, which will be dealt with, probably harshly, after dessert. So ladies and gentlemen, please enjoy your meal. Actually, I feel compelled to explain just a little bit because we've got a lot of civilian guests. So if you would like the floor to address the mess for a ditty, a limerick, or a couple of comments, the appropriate way to do so is to grab the attention of Mr. Vice, and you address Mr. Vice and you say, Mr. Vice, I request permission to address the president to request the floor, at which time I will or will not give you that permission, and you will address Madam President, and Madam President will either grant or not your request to address the mess. So, ladies and gentlemen, please enjoy your meal.
Mr. Vice, I would like
Yes.
to address the mess.
You're talking with your mouth full. Did you not?
I'm enlisted.
Knife and fork school?
No, I'm enlisted. I didn't make it that far.
Madam President, we have a request to address the mess. How say ye?
Mr. Vice, I suppose he may address the mess.
The floor is yours.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I would like to start a few things by just saying thanks to everybody who showed up. A couple of people showed up a little late because they were having some issues here. So I want to start by thanking Commander Flores, who's technically our active duty officer of the evening. Unofficially, I recruited him and he didn't realize it, but Commander is also the president of the Aviation Boatswain Mate Association, and he has become a very good friend of mine. So it's an honor to have you here. I appreciate you signing all of the certificates for everybody. And don't worry about that credit check. I just applied for a home loan, no big deal. I may or may not have used your signature for that, but it'll be okay. I also want to thank Master Chief Michael Nyblack, who was with me through one of my hardest days of my Navy career. And it was the day after the Navy forced me to come back after I was in the middle of treatment at Walter Reed, and forced me to put on a uniform that I wasn't prepared to put on. And it was a really hard day. It was probably one of the hardest days since losing one of my shipmates. And Master Chief Nyblack talked me through the entire damn day. And so if anyone deserves a good toast here, it's that man, and we will toast him later. But him and his wife have been really good friends of ours, and I appreciate you so much, sir.
Aye, aye, shipmate.
Thank you, Matt. And then Brittany Rockwell and I met in this last fall during the campaign, and I'm really happy that she's here. Thank you so much for being here. This lady gave birth to twins and is an amazing mother, and I'm just excited that she had some time to get with me today. So thank you, Brittany, for being here.
Yeah, I was thinking Central Time, not East Coast Time. I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Why don't you put the phone down and drive safe, and we'll see you whenever you get where you're going.
Okay.
And then I want to address a mess violation off the bat here. Good friend of mine, Mr. Barry Sanders. I see him over there, and he is taking off his jacket, sir. I just don't understand I don't understand why you've decided not to be so formal anymore, and you've just decided to be on your own rules, sir. So I think that we should take up that violation later, sir. So, but thank you so much. The floor is
thirsty now.
Yeah, I know you are. Just keep drinking. You got a sword in the background, by the way. I'm kind of worried about that. But
And the banjo, Mike. And the banjo.
And a banjo. I didn't see the banjo. So the floor is open for anyone who wants to share stories about me or whatever. My family is here, so keep them as great as possible because I understand what I've been doing for the last 10 years. So I turned over the last 18 years. So I turn the floor back over, Mr. Vice.
Mr. Vice, I got a request permission to speak. I lost my words.
I don't
I'm
know.
a
You got the
bosun's
message
mate.
across pretty quick.
Yeah, y'all are lucky I didn't say paint, okay?
Madam President, we have a request to address the mess. And since she has left the building so that she cannot be overheard, I'm really intrigued to find out two things.
No.
One, what does she have to say? And two, how did you get stuck in that gill net?
Mr. Vice, as am I, I'm very intrigued, and I will grant permission to address the mess.
I have to be the one that says we need to make sure we raise a glass for the fallen shipmates that would be here today if they could. Madam President, I request permission to name the missing shipmates.
Permission granted.
I'd like to speak congratulatory words for Petty Officer Bordas and Petty Officer Wright.
To my fallen shipmates. I think of them every day.
Shipmates.
Let me run inside and get a drink because I left my drink inside. Damn it. I'm done now.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for that, Anne Marie. There's not a day that don't go by I don't think about those two shipmates and the other 13 that I've lost. And Alita is always in my mind, and so is Arvin. So thank you. Thank you for that.
Mr. Vice, permission to address the mess.
Oh, I'm screwed.
Madam President, we have a request to address the mess from our sole active duty officer of the evening. I don't see how we can say no to that, Madam President.
I agree with you, Mr. Vice. The floor is yours.
First of all, for everyone, I mean, Mike, thank you very much. Elizabeth, thank you very much for the invite. This is truly an honor. It really, watching the screen, everybody here, like we say, we got somebody driving. Miss Anne Marie, I believe, was in a store. It just goes to show you on the testament of the friendship and you know, the people that you know and how much they care for both of you. You know, a lot of people would have not signed on as they're driving. So I think that's actually a pretty neat thing to see. It's an honor to be here with you, with both of you, you know, and sitting here, and you have to forgive me because I'm not eating. So if that's a violation, which I'm pretty sure it is, I'm over here in the Pacific. So it's a little early for me to start eating dinner. The wife and I were still discussing what we're going to eat when we had to log in, when I had to log in. But Mike, you know, what can I say? You know, we didn't serve together in any ship, but, you know, knowing you and everything that you've done for the ABMA and the conversations that we've had, you know, I wish we would have. I think we would have done some great things on the carriers. And doing this, it actually reminded me when I joined for the first time in 1991, and my wife actually found this cup, I don't know if you can see it, but that's actually from my first ship. It's actually from the USS Cleveland when Airman Flores reported on board in 1991. So it's actually, it brings back memories and just sitting here with everybody. And I just want to say a toast to everybody that served, that's now separated from the Navy, retired or separated. A toast to you, to all of you. Thank you.
Hear, hear.
Hear, hear.
Thank you, sir.
Request permission to address the mess.
Captain Ireland, I don't know. I know some of the stories you know about, Mike, and I'm a little concerned, Madam President.
Meeting adjourned. Meeting adjourned.
However, having said that, Madam President, I am very, very intrigued to know which story Captain Ireland is going to pull out of his quiver.
I'm not. Meeting adjourned.
As am I, Mr. Vice, and especially because Mike over here really doesn't want him to share with us. Permission granted.
Thank you, ma'am. I'm going to go easy on Michael, at least for the time being. When he got up and sprinted across the room, I thought I spotted something. So I will start with this. There was a young Scotsman named Milt who said, "When I'm wearing my kilt, my bollocks they freeze when hit by a breeze, and my rod has a definite wilt." That is all.
Mr. Vice, I request permission for a rebuttal.
A rebuttal? How can you rebut such art? You might as well call a Picasso a crayon color. I mean, that was the penultimate of art.
Mr. Vice,
if you'd like to try to rebut, Madam President, I do recommend we see how low he can actually stumble.
I think I have to. I just want to watch this happen.
Mr. Vice.
This is where, Madam President, there's a request to address the mess as a rebuttal to the limerick that we were just blessed to listen to from the good captain. May Mike address the mess?
Mike may address the mess.
That was beautiful.
I might be too nice, but yes.
That was beautiful. I love it. However, I am not wearing a kilt, sir. I am not.
noticed.
I am wearing my alma mater's gym shorts from when I was in high school, sir. Wearing the McLean Fox's gym shorts. Okay?
Oh,
This is
no.
not a kilt. But I appreciate you recognizing my Scottish heritage in your limerick. But I wanted to clarify, no kilt here, sir. No kilt.
Okay.
Mr. Vice, people are trying to eat here.
Yes, I agree wholeheartedly with our spy from the journalistic community.
Yeah, I kind of want a request, but I'm used to just butting in the middle and asking questions. That's not really how I'm supposed to act here. So
let's just go quick. Madam President, can Mr. Shane address the mess?
Mr. Vice, Mr. Leo Shane can address the mess.
Off the record. Off the record.
Off the
Off the
record.
record. No, please. I don't want any actually nice. I don't want any record of this because I might say some nice things about you. So I don't want to have that. I don't want to have that out in the public here. But no, look, I'm getting called for watch duty in the first grader's bedroom in a minute here. So I am gonna have to split. But before I go, I just wanted to congratulate you and say, we met, gosh, what was it? 10 years ago now? 8 years ago? It was a while back, but I get to meet a lot of folks who are very, very passionate, very excited about getting into advocacy, and they have great ideas and they want to do a lot of stuff. And when I met Mike, I'm like, oh, it's another one of these guys, very sincere, but this is probably going to be a short-lived thing. He's got these grand ideas. He thinks he can break in. He thinks he can come. And now when I'm looking at folks who are trying to break into national advocacy and trying to change the world here, I've got a little voice in the back of my head that says, this could be another Mike Little. This could be another one of these guys who just comes wandering in off the street and all of a sudden is tearing up the world, is hooked into everybody instantly. He's got numbers all over the place. He's got friends all over. He's got somebody he can call. He helped me out when my father-in-law passed away, and then screamed at me for not calling him sooner for help on that. I mean, Mike just knows everyone, and it's been inspirational for me to see you, to get to see this whole phase of your career and this whole phase of your life. So I want to toast to that. I know that we're talking about another part of your career here, but that part has always been impressive to me, and I'm looking forward to that continuing, and us still, those Saturday phone calls where you say, I got a story that you have to write, and then we argue for 20 minutes about whether or not I have to write it, and then I end up writing it. So congrats, and more of the same in the future for us.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
You're here.
Leo, I just wanted to say that you're not off the hook, man. You still got to write those articles. Even though I'm not in the Navy anymore, you still technically work for me. I'm kind of like a Navy veteran. But listen, the match chief petty officer of the Coast Guard's here, right? And I've been trying to get Leo.
You're going to do the pitch. You're going to do the Coast Guard Times pitch.
I've been trying to get Leo to start the Coast Guard Times for years. Like, why? Army Times, Marine Corps Times, Navy Times. Where's the Coast Guard Times, shipmate?
I'm the one who knows nothing, right? I'm the one who writes for Military Times because I don't know anything about any of the specific services. So they put me in the corner and they don't let me write about, because I still don't know ranks or whether an F-35.
They throw our articles in the back page of the Navy Times. Like, come on.
We get a couple we get 2 pages in the Navy Times. Yeah. It's a.
Well, look, if you guys can give me just a good business plan of how to keep journalism afloat, I am happy to launch it. Until figure out how to make some money, it's kind of still up in the air. So.
Hey, Jason, we give you lots of Naval Institute love, though, so you're good.
You do. I every when I get the early bird every day, we get the we get our fair share of USNI and Sea Power and that kind of stuff that takes care of us.
Well, we'll just take our business to the Naval Institute then, Leo. Thanks for your support.
I have
And,
plenty of names of people you can complain to who will be more affected than me on this. I will forward them to you on Monday.
give me their number. I'll call them. Thank you, Leo. It means a lot for you being here. And
it's
shared
great.
some of my most
Anytime.
intimate
I appreciate the input.
memories with you, but you've been a good friend, and I really do appreciate your support.
Leo, 2 words for you to save journalism. Clog dancing. I'll let you figure out the rest.
Look, they barely let me on camera as it is. So.
I know that. Hey, where you going?
Right back.
Madam President, it seems like we're at a good point right now to take a quick 5-minute break. I'm sure that there are some hydraulic reservoirs that need to be topped off and probably some ballast that needs to be adjusted. And so I would recommend, Madam President, that we take a 5-minute break. And furthermore, I recommend that during that 5-minute break, we have a little challenge for all the participants, that when they return with the 2 most dissimilar baking ingredients they can think of that they have either in their pantry or in their refrigerator. There has to be one solid and one liquid, the most dissimilar baking ingredients. So when we come back in 5 minutes, Madam President, I propose a small competition that people will show those ingredients on the screen, and more to follow on that.
Mr. Vice, I agree. 5 minutes and we will come back for this competition.
So for those of you that don't have to go to the bathroom.
Yes. The head is the bathroom, by the way, for you Air Force types and civilians.
Oh, geez, thanks a lot. Way to call me out there.
I saw you there.
That's right. That's right. I was Navy first. Don't worry.
Oh, we thought my wife ditched this and went to the Coast Guard. This dude ditched this and went to the Air National Guard or something.
Hey, Mike, I'm sorry I'm late, buddy. I had to just save the world one computer at a time, so I was a little hungover at work there. You know,
Gimbert, you're always late anyways.
That's right. Hey, how you doing?
Hey, boy.
Wait, time out. I just, is Terrence Pinkney wearing freaking?
That's right.
Oh, wait, where is he? Where's he at? Where you at, Pinkney?
Oh,
I'm right
wow.
here. You see that?
Oh, wow. That's what I'm talking about.
Shit.
You see that?
Well, I would have put my dress blues on for you from the Navy, but I couldn't fit them anymore, you know?
Pinkney,
Right.
your age is showing, baby.
Well, I
Terrence
figured
got that shirt button.
I figured since Mike's on his way out, I figured we start with the uniform of the day from his first day and being the uniform of the day on his last day.
Okay. Pinkney, look at that little young sailor there. That's that one you all were calling 10 years ago to get on the phone for me.
Yep.
He's all growed up.
You like that?
I like your age is showing, bro.
Yeah, man. I'm salty as heck.
Brush a little off.
I love it.
That's it. That's super salt right there.
I like it. It's nice.
Yeah. There you go.
Okay.
He's jealous because he joined too late to wear blueberries.
Who's that, me?
I'll just say that I forfeit. We forfeit.
Yes, there we go. We forfeit.
I don't know. I'm a little scared of these ingredients. I don't want to put them in anything.
I have scallops. Not really sure why you have that at a bar, but I have scallops.
Okay. Do you want me to help
Hey,
you?
Mr. Petty Officer Little, when are you going to do the speaking parts? Because I have customers getting really pissed off at me.
Oh, go do your thing. It's gonna be a minute.
Yeah, I won't. I don't know if I'll be able to come back to do the whole Space Force thing.
It'll be all right. Don't worry about that, Anne-Marie. If you gotta go work, someone will jump in and do the toast for you.
I had a bartender quit on Facebook. She didn't even tell me, so I'm here now.
Wow, that's what I'm talking about.
That's what happens when you hire civilians. Now my entire bar staff is all veterans, so
When you come back, I'm going. Which one you going to?
Straight ahead.
Okay.
Did you say you had somebody quit on Facebook? They didn't even
Yep,
call you?
she hasn't even told me still. She just put it on Facebook.
Wow. Millennials.
And then
huh?
I had a customer come in today and tell me that if females were not in combat, they would not have targeted me as the weakest link and I never would have got injured.
That's cool. No, it's not.
I mean, it's hard to argue with that kind of logic.
Yeah.
Because it's not non-existent.
Yeah.
Well, I threw him out of my fucking bar because you can get the fuck out.
That's the
But-
answer.
Oh,
Hey.
and that's Anne Marie. Welcome. Here it is.
Yep. The bosun's mate in me came out that moment.
Family event, Anne Marie. Family
Yeah.
event.
What did I say 10 years ago, guys? It's like a good thing you didn't get shanked.
Mm-hmm.
I had a buddy who's a chiropractor. His receptionist called in naked. I can't come to work because I have no clean clothes, and you don't want me there.
Nobody wants to see that. We're not doing that.
That's a lot going on there.
Yeah.
A lot.
Pinkney, how you been, bro? I haven't talked to you in a hot minute. That uniform, though.
Great. Still family guy. Got a daughter now. She's almost 10. So.
Oh shit! So you came home from deployment and you were like, "Hey, it's time to make
No,
babies."
he came home on leave from deployment.
On leave.
Yeah, pretty much. That's pretty much.
We went
Other
back
than
to
that,
San Diego. I went to the
living life.
beach. This dude ends up with a baby.
Yep.
Are you in San Diego, Pinkney?
Oh yeah. Yep.
Oh, well, I'll be down there mid-April. We should hook up and get way too drunk for our age.
Let me know. That's where I met Mike. He's right here in San Diego.
Joseph will be with me too. So
Nice.
I was supposed to be going to my ship's decommissioning because I was on the BHR and she, burned it down. But they're not letting anybody on board, not even plank owners. We can't even go on.
No, it's still in the same spot. I see it every time I go to 32nd Street. It's right by the movie theater.
Yeah, we just can't. They won't let us go. So it is what it is.
It's a fire, not a fire hazard anymore. It's more of a environmental health
COVID.
thing.
They're saying it's because of COVID.
Sure.
So, all right, I'll message you when we are in San Diego.
Yeah, let me know. It'd be great to hook up.
Yep. All right, Little, I love you, but I really do have to go to my customers because they're getting really pissed off.
Hey, thank you so much for showing up. Let me just toast you.
I made a World War II guy wait for you, just so you know.
Ooh,
To my shipmate, my ride or die. I got your back.
I got you.
Cheers. Thank you.
All right, I love y'all. Bye. Have a good day. I'm gonna go get all these guys drunk.
I gotta keep this thing charged because it tastes really good.
Oh my gosh, bye.
What you got going on over there, Mike?
Well, this is my grog, and in my grog I am drinking Molly High and Mai Tai.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
All right, I got more formal for you.
There you go.
Well, look at
there you go.
He just changed.
You get more formal for us.
Did you miss the part where I'm wearing shorts?
Well, I'm not showing you the bottom half.
You're like cruise book photo in it.
That's it. That's it.
Liz drank Mai Tais one time.
Are we the only ones wearing actual pants?
One time.
There you go.
That's up to you guys if you want to rectify that whole situation. We'll just leave it to your decision.
Yeah, there it is.
Hey, my shipmate Shauna's here from the Tarawa. I just wanted to say hi to her. I'm looking forward to hearing from you later. Thank you so much for being here, shipmate. She actually worked with me to get a lot of this together and encouraged me to keep pushing it. So thank you.
Nice.
Absolutely. I wouldn't miss it for the world, no matter what. Like, I want to encourage you because I think that you deserve it, and you deserve all the encouragement from all of your other shipmates and all my friends.
Thanks, shipmate. It's good to see you. Good to
It's
have some
good to see you.
representation here.
Which makes for a perfect segue into, Madam President, I recommend we are 3 minutes over, which is not what you want to be in naval aviation. But be that as it may, we can make up time with throttle. So I recommend that we reconvene the mess.
Yes, Mr. Vice, I agree. We will reconvene and proceed with the business of the mess.
And Madam President, I believe that you guys have some things that you're going to handle right now.
Yes. So at this time, Mike, I'm going to,
Whoa.
we're,
Yeah, it's dessert time, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So at this point, we're going to prepare dessert.
All right.
We're gonna have
So,
cake cutting.
so what we're gonna do is we're gonna move down to the kitchen. I'm gonna put on my apron and we're gonna bake a cake. Fast forward a few seconds and the cake is done.
Poof.
So I want to thank my neighbor Lindsay. I know I'm gonna like this thing, but
Did you have to get up?
shut up, dude. So it's nice cake. It's got my service dates on it, January 21st, 2003 to January 23rd, 2021. It says ABH2 AWSW, Michael J. Little, USNR.
Nice.
So, in preparation of cutting this cake, I have a presentation I want to make. And it involves a sword, which is actually a cutlass. So I want to, I have prepared this because for those of you that don't know, there's one person in my life that probably means more to me than anything. And we started off on the Ronald Reagan together years ago. And I was one of her first supervisors, and we did a lot. And we were really good friends. And I didn't hear from her. I transferred to the Tarawa. I didn't hear from her for about 8 years, and we reconnected. And the next thing I know, I'm in love with this girl. I'm driving a Buffalo all the time. She's just, yeah, I did. It's a long 9-hour drive. Parents taught me most of it. She was an HS too. We were the same rank. Next thing I know, she made first class. She's outranking me. And I was like, all right, well, that's all right. That's all right. I was like, she won't make chief. It'll be okay. It'll be okay. Because like I really wanted to make chief. And then I'll be damned if like a week or a couple weeks ago, about a month ago, she freaking calls me and says, I just made chief. And I was like, and I'm joking because I knew she would make chief, and I was proud of her because I knew that this was going to happen when I first met her. I knew that she had it in her, and I knew she would have been a great aviation bosun mate had she stayed in the Navy. But I'm really glad that she went the route she went because I think it was going to be the most successful for her. And so, in preparation of her getting close to putting on her anchors, I have bought her a cutlass, and we'll use it ceremoniously here in a moment. But beforehand, I made a certificate for her in the presentation of the cutlass. So I'm going to read it out loud. Presentation of the cutlass to HSC Select Elizabeth A. Little from Aviation Bosun Mate Handler, Second Class Petty Officer, AWSW, Michael Joseph Little. Seniority in the Chief's Mess is measured by experience, heart, and courage. The courage to do the right thing, the heart to care about all your sailors equally. The experience to guide the young, mentor your replacements, and to lead when and where others fear to go. There are several symbols by which Chief Petty Officers are recognized. The most widely recognized is the anchors that you will wear. Many would also say it's the battered combination cover that symbolizes the weathered wisdom of a seasoned chief. There is another treasured symbol of the senior salt, one that harkens to the day of wooden ships and iron men. Our heritage recalls the days when the cry went up aboard sailing ships, boarders away, and a band of screaming, courageous blue jackets would storm the decks of an enemy man of war. At their head, an intrepid officer, often the skipper himself, and at his shoulder, protecting him from harm and setting the example to his mates, was a calm, rock-hard sailor, perhaps the captain of the topmast or the senior bosun mate. Today, they would be called chief. In his hand, that senior salt carried one of the most recognizable symbols of American naval courage, a cutlass. I, Michael Joseph Little, your first supervisor, best friend and husband, present to Chief Select Elizabeth Ann Little this 1861 Ames pattern cutlass, identical to those carried by the U.S. Navy sailors from the Civil War until the 1930s. That sword was officially discontinued from service in 1949. The cutlass has been restored to its place of honor and is now a widely recognized symbol of the bravery of our Navy and of our Coast Guard core values of honor, respect, devotion to duty, courage, and commitment. The cutlass combined with the gold-fouled anchor are emblematic of the Chief Petty Officer's mess you are about to join and represent all that you continue to stand for. The inscription on the blade reads HSC E.A. Little, given by your loving husband, March 27th, 2021. And so I present her with her cutlass.
Thank you. Thank you.
So there you go.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So she knew she was getting the cutlass. She didn't know she was getting the certificate.
No, I didn't. Thank you very
Here,
much.
here.
Thank you. All right. So now we will cut the. We'll put this thing to use. Oh, by the way, I too got a cutlass. It's a baby cutlass. It's a little baby cutlass.
It's a letter opener.
Nobody trusted me with the real one, but anyway. So
I can understand that.
Me too. Me too. So let's take this thing out. All right. Now I'd like to ask the I believe the oldest sailor here, and God, I don't want to get in trouble for this, is probably Captain Stiegel.
Very well may be. 69
Very well
years
may
old.
be. So I'm gonna let him be the oldest sailor in this process.
Thank you.
And does anyone think that they're younger than that little recruit that's sitting in his barracks with his buddy?
He's not a recruit anymore.
How old are you, Austin?
I'm 18 years old, sir.
God,
18 years
18.
old.
Ah, the days.
How
I
old
miss
is
those
sitting next to
days.
you?
This shirt I'm wearing is older than 18.
And I can't even say I'm that young at heart. Daggone it.
Wow.
My career ended at 18 years.
I miss those days.
This chevron is older than 18. Holy cow. 18.
I've been out more than 18.
I've wrung more salt water out of my socks than he sailed over.
Does anyone else want to pick on this on the fireman recruit?
Fireman recruit.
FR, baby. That's what I'm talking about.
All right.
Wow.
So if you two could pretend like you're holding this cutlass, hold your hand out. Liz, grab a hold of the cutlass here. She grabbed the sword.
Pull the
I
cake
have a
in.
sword.
a
I
little
can
closer, Mike.
We're
grab a
gonna
sword.
go ahead and we're gonna cut our.
Pull the cake in closer.
Oh yeah, you may not be able to see it. Sorry. Sorry.
And as
All right.
as the corpsman told me once, Michael, be sure you wipe it off before you put it back. That's a corpsman joke.
Does anybody want to write down that violation?
Sir, that should have been clearly an offering to the floor.
There you go. That's what the corpsman said to do. Just that. Exactly.
All right.
You don't want any cake in the scabbard. That's all I'm saying.
So we will put that cutlass back here so I don't hurt anybody. Now, there's one last thing I want to do during this. I'm going to step aside so I can hand my wife our dessert plates. Feel free to serve yourself whatever dessert you brought yourself. We have cake. I have a watch here. And so in this ceremony, I have a couple things to Captain Stiegel. I don't necessarily have a gift for you, sir, but I do want to get with you the next time I'm in DC, and I'd like to treat you to dinner. So
Well, you are very kind.
So for being my senior cake cutter here, that is what I'd like to offer you.
Well, then you are very kind. I know
To
a very
the
expensive restaurant in DC.
oh, yeah, we go to BLT or something. So to the youngest shipmate, I received this watch a while back, and you have more connection to me than you realize, and part of that is I served with your mother, who's not here right now, and your stepfather, and they were your mother is someone who was very, very important. She was very very caring of all of her shipmates that were with us in combat. Whenever things would go wrong, she was always there to try to make sure that they could go right, and she never gave up. And I was always proud of her, even after she got injured. And I've been supporting her ever since she got home. And so you have a heck of a legacy to live up to, but you can do it. And I know you will, because you have good mentors. And I can tell you right now that any one of these gentlemen and women who are here tonight that served in uniform or supported someone who served in uniform would be more than happy to mentor you throughout your career.
Absolutely.
I invited you here tonight because I wanted you to experience a dining in and dining out. This is something that I never experienced in my career until I was in DC and I was hanging out with a bunch of flag officers for the most part with my job at AUSN. And this is a time-honored tradition that we often overlook. But George Patton once said that dining ins and dining outs are not made for the officers. It's made to bring together all of the men of the armed services. And so I encourage you to look to your career, think about what it is that you can get involved with to make your career more lasting, because you can definitely put yourself in a 20-year career. You can put yourself in officer shoulder boards if you want. You can become a master chief. You could become the next master chief petty officer of the Navy. But you have to start now, and you have to get involved in it. You can't ever take that moment to think it's a joke or things like these are silly. A lot of people thought that this was silly, and a lot of my shipmates aren't here tonight because they thought it was silly. But I tell you what, the ones that are here tonight, they're the ones that I look up to the most. Master Chief Mark Aguirre was my first yellow shirt that I ever worked with on the Ronald Reagan. And I think about that guy all the time. Anytime something's going on in my life, I think about Mark. I think about Master Chief. Anytime I think about, the people that I served with, I think about Chris Gimbert. I think about all of my days in the Boy Scouts of America, something else that people once told me was a silly thing to be a part of. I think about David Hart, and I think about Barry Sanders, and I think about all the life lessons I ever learned from them. So shipmate, tonight's a lot of fun. It's a lot of enjoyment, and it's a lot of excitement, but tonight's a learning experience for you. So tonight, I want to give you this watch. I'm going to be mailing it to you. I haven't had a chance to get it fixed because the arm's broken, but this actually came from a gentleman who served in World War II. He was a master chief who served from 1942 until 1966 on active duty. He was in the reserves prior to that, and he did a full 20 years. So shipmate, I want to give you this watch. It's a Navy watch. It's got the Navy logo on it. It looks like it's faded, but it's a nice Navy logo watch. I'm going to get a new band put on it and fixed for you. But shipmate, I'm going to get this out to you up there to Great Lakes. Always remember to be on time. Always remember to be punctual. And always remember to have the time of your life. So that's for you, shipmate. Thanks for being here.
15 minutes early.
Thank you so much.
Here, here.
Here, here.
I'm going to toast to fireman recruit Austin. Forgot Rock. Rock. There you go. Thanks. I wanted to say Toth. Sorry. Fireman recruit. Sorry. All right. That's the cake presentation.
All right, so are we on to the next piece, awards and presentations?
Yes, yes.
We are. Okay.
Sorry, I forgot to tell you about the watch. Oh my God.
It's all good. Is that good cake?
Oh my God.
Yeah, go ahead and rub it in a little more. Does anybody else want some? Bueller?
Yeah, sure. I'd love some. Yeah, just send it up to Fort Smith, Arkansas.
Yeah,
Wait on
yeah.
You got through that box of bread earlier.
Where's the FedEx box?
Brett's got to throw it back to me.
I don't have that kind of arm. Okay, so whilst you are enjoying the cake, that was the wrong screen. Hang on a second. There we go. We're going to move into awards and presentations. So, Madam President, I recommend that we begin the awards and presentations period of the dining out right now.
Yes, Mr. Vice. At this time, we will be presenting Mike with some various awards and decorations that he has most undoubtedly earned in his Navy career.
Excellent. So the first presentation will be his discharge certificate, be presented by Commander Oscar Flores. Oscar, do you want me to read like standard or like a normal award ceremony, or do you want to, are you going to read it? You got it. You're muted, brother.
No, go ahead and read it.
Okay. Here we go. Honorable discharge from the Armed Forces of the United States of America. This is to certify that, oh, stand by. If I might ask, it's not in my script and I forgot. If I might ask all members of the mess and guests to please rise.
Aye,
Honorable discharge certificate from the Armed Forces of the United States of America. This is to certify that ABH2 Michael Joseph Little, United States Navy, was honorably discharged from the United States Navy on the 23rd day of January 2021. This certificate is awarded as a testimonial of honest and faithful service. Signed, Irene Palmer, by direction Commander, Navy Personnel Command.
Thank you.
Okay, I think there you go, Mike. I think I was supposed to hand that to you like that.
We'll do it. We'll do it. Oh, hey, I got
There you go.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. We'll do it. We'll do it. We'll do it right with the next one.
Okay.
All right. The next presentation will also be done by Commander Flores. It is a letter from the, no, that's not it. Hang on a second. I got to get down to the right letter here. Where is it? There it is. It is a letter from President George W. Bush. Petty Officer Second Class Michael J. Little, United States Navy. Dear Mike, thank you for your service in the United States Armed Forces. I am proud to have served as your Commander-in-Chief, and I am pleased to join your family, friends, and colleagues in recognizing your career and accomplishments. Throughout history, the dedicated men and women of our military have protected our citizens and preserved the ideals that make our country strong. Their courage and sacrifice have inspired countless people and have helped shape America's character. On behalf of a grateful nation, I thank you for your contribution to our security and to the cause of peace and freedom. Your service, patriotism, and selfless devotion have helped advance the universal hope of liberty at home and around the world. Laura and I send our best wishes for health and happiness in the years ahead. May God bless you, and may God continue to bless America. Sincerely, George W. Bush.
Good job, Commander. It's a heck of an arm you got.
Okay, the next presentation is the last launch certificate presented by Commander Flores. Last launch. Head out of the wind, no flight quarters to sound, but another AB is retirement bound. Tonight, we'll crack a keg or two, gather round, drink a toast to you. We'll toast the car quals, cycle ops days, general quarters, and securing hangar bays. We'll toast dragging hoses, hot fueling, respotting decks, days that were grueling. We'll toast catapults firing, manning arresting gear, sometimes laughter, sometimes fear. We'll toast chalking them up and tying them down, fighting fires, the turnarounds. We'll toast liberty calls, the fun we had, past shipmates, times both good and bad. So with this toast, we bid a fond farewell. Your turn on deck has passed, and regardless of what the future holds, these memories with you shall last. Presented to Aviation Boatswain's Mate Second Class, Air Warfare and Surface Warfare, Michael Joseph Little, United States Navy, this 23rd day of January 2021, signed Commander Oscar Flores, President, Aviation Boatswain's Mate Association.
Thanks a lot. I think this one means more to me than anything.
It says something with a letter from the president. The next presentation is a letter from Senator Tammy Duckworth, presented by Chief Select Elizabeth Little. Dear Mr. Little, I am truly proud to send my greetings and thank you for your service while serving in the U.S. Navy. The contributions and sacrifices you have made are a true testament to our nation's values. Your commitment, loyalty, and sacrifices to our country are appreciated. Your 18 years of service in the armed forces truly reflects your patriotism and strength of character. Your leadership serves as a powerful reminder of the brave Americans who, like you, answered our nation's call to defend our liberty and fight for the cause of freedom. Again, I want to thank you for your service to our nation, and you should forever take pride in knowing that your exemplary efforts and unwavering professionalism contributed greatly to the success of the Navy's mission. It is my honor to join your family and friends as they recognize your instrumental service to our nation. Signed, Tammy Duckworth, United States Senator. And the final presentation is a letter from Representative Mary Miller, presented by Chief Select Elizabeth Little. I was getting a little musical there. Dear Petty Officer Little, I would like to take the opportunity to thank you for your 18 years of honorable service to the United States Navy and your commitment to your fellow veterans. Throughout this country's history, brave patriots have time and time again been willing to leave their homes and families in order to preserve the blessings of liberty for the loved ones and strangers alike. It is a noble tradition which you followed when embarking on your journey as a sailor. During your service, you helped ensure the future generations will be able to grow up in a free, prosperous nation. Furthermore, your devotion to your brothers and sisters in arms has led you on a different journey, one whose end has been to secure life-saving support for those who gave so much in service to our great country. Our military and its service members hold a unique place in the history of the world. Rather than swearing allegiance to a king, government, or political party, you and your fellow service members took an oath to the Constitution. Your oath was to timeless ideals, to a document that guaranteed the rights of a free people given to them by God. Your many stations at home and deployments abroad give testament to your deep devotion to that oath. Your dedication to our country has also led you to do heroic work in the fight against veteran suicide. By advocating on behalf of veterans, reviewing thousands of pieces of legislation, and working to ensure their implementation, you have already made a difference in the lives of countless veterans and their families. It is heartbreaking to see the number of veteran suicides. Our veterans gave so much to ensure our safety, and you have been a true leader in helping to ensure that their needs are cared for when they return. I'm so grateful for your service to our nation, both through your 18 years in the Navy and your tireless work on behalf of all who served. Please do not hesitate to reach out to me or my office if we can be of any assistance to you. Sincerely, Mary Miller, Member of Congress.
Thank you, Brett.
Okay, and I believe we have one more, Mike. You ready for that one?
What do we?
So this is a presentation from Mike to, what are you holding over there? Am I missing something? Mike?
Yeah, my bad. Got it.
All right, here we go. Certificate of Appreciation to Elizabeth Little to be presented by Mrs. Vice, Lisa Corrade. Certificate of Appreciation from the United States Navy to all who shall see these presents greetings. This is to certify that Elizabeth Ann Little has earned grateful appreciation for her unselfish, faithful, and devoted service during her husband's naval career. Her unfailing support and understanding helped to make possible her husband's lasting contribution to the nation. Given this 23rd day of January 2021, signed O.S. Flores, Commander USN, Force Handler.
Liz, from one Navy wife to another, thank you for your service. I know it's the hardest job in the Navy. Now, Mike, do what your wife, do what every Navy man should do, and listen to your wife and give her the award.
Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. Please take your seats.
So additionally, I just wanted to mention that certificates will be presented to Ann Little, John Little, Jim Little, and Juanita Little for their commitment to raising me to be the sailor that the Navy needed me to be. So these will be coming to you in the mail shortly.
So, Madam President, we have come to the point of the evening where it is time to listen to a great man wax poetic about somebody who's going to have a lot of targets on him tonight. So, Madam President, I recommend that you introduce our guest speaker and we kick off the revelry.
Thank you very much, Mr. Vice. So I would like to introduce Fleet Master Chief retired Paul Kingsbury. Served over 31 years in the U.S. Navy, culminating his selection as the Fleet Master Chief for U.S. Fleet Forces Command. He is the author of the Chief Petty Officer's Guide, 2nd edition, and has several published articles in military journals. He currently works in the U.S. Naval Institute as the co-director of outreach and serves as the national president and commander of the Non-Commissioned Officers Association. The three of us, Mike, myself, and Master Chief, served together aboard the USS Ronald Reagan, CVN 76, that's plank owners, and have worked on numerous professional projects following Paul's retirement from the Navy. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming our dear friend, Paul Kingsbury.
They can't hear us, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
All right. So good evening, everyone. First of all, job well done to Mike, Liz, and Brett for putting this together. At first, I was a little skeptical, but this is kind of working out pretty good. So it's kind of the life that we're in now. But it's pretty cool to see that. It's good to see everyone here, and I'm glad that you all could join us. And I think it's definitely a unique night for us, and definitely the first virtual dining out I've ever done. So, so I wanted to talk a little bit more about Mike and a little less about his career. All that stuff, as you know, is on the links. You know, we've heard about awards. You guys know him personally. You guys know him professionally. So I want to talk about the Mike that I know, and more about the attributes that makes Mike Mike. And hopefully this resonates with some of you. I don't know him as often or as much as many of you do. So I first met Mike, actually. So Mike, you won't, I looked this up today. So we first met back in 28 April of 2016, so almost 5 years ago to the date. And that was a U.S. Naval Institute general membership meeting. I was there to receive the prize for the 3rd place general essay contest article I had written. And during a social time, I looked over, and as I do in all those kind of events, I was in uniform. Mike wasn't. He was in a suit and tie, but I picked up on his aviation warfare pin. I think he had a surface warfare pin too. Probably he had like 60 other friggin' things, you know. But so I immediately was drawn to him. I was like, hey, there's an enlisted guy. I'm gonna go over see what he's doing, what he wants to do. So we had a great conversation. And he told me his history, you know, not in depth, but we quickly made a connection. And that conversation ended with him saying, you want to go meet some congressmen? And that was the last thing I thought I was going to hear that night. And literally, I met some congressmen. So I went from the Naval Institute meeting as a fleet mass chief to the, what's it called, the Republican National Club. I think that's where we were. And I was handshaking with congressmen. So that really got my attention at that point. I'm like, wow, right? So here was a guy that was doing great stuff and engaged and was well connected, and already thing I appreciated was breaking those models of what we traditionally consider what enlisted do and officers do and those kind of things. So, and from there, our relationship's just grown. We kept in touch, you know, while I was on active duty, and we've continued to do since. And like I said, since then, our relationship's grown, and I've learned some things, many that you guys might know, some you may not. But so first of all, I've known the last year, all his hair has shifted from his head to his chin. So, and I don't know kind of what's going on there, but he must be following Dave Hart's lead, because Dave's got that going too. So I don't know what's going to fall out of there or what he's got stored in there, but he might be storing some more swag or something in there. But so the other things I know about it, so he's committed, he's passionate, he's informed, but he's got these other attributes that I just feel compelled that we got to bring up tonight that you guys should know. So if you haven't noticed, first of all, Mike likes to collect titles and swag, right? So he is that fleet sailor who has 10 warfare quals after his name. He's got all the designators, everything, you know, I mean, just look at his jacket. And that's just the tip of the iceberg, right? When you come to eventually discover, you know, and you learn about him, and frankly, he's going to tell you eventually, right? He's just going to inform you. He has an endless list of titles and affiliations, and he's basically a walking alphabet soup of positions and memberships. So he's got more personal lifetime memberships than the U.S. Naval Institute has lifetime members. I know that at this point, right? If there's a lifetime membership, there's not a lifetime membership that Mike won't grab and be a member of. So I don't know why that is, but that's a thing he wants. And there's not a position or title that I've come to know he's not going to chase or go after. And you can read that all in his bio. And as you know, by the way, give yourself a good 30 minutes to read that bio, because that thing goes forever. But for guys like me, I'm a little older. So I see Mike, he is a combination of Felix the Cat, the Tasmanian Devil, and the Wonder Twins, right? So he's this guy, he's spinning around. He's got this bag of tricks and swag. And then 1 minute, you know, it's shape of U.S. Naval Institute lifetime member. And then bam, next thing he's all ball cap comes on, t-shirts going on, and he's the PAO for the Aviation Boatswain's Association. And then bam, that evening it's off. And then he's on his, you know, he's doing his Shriner thing, right? So he's definitely all over the place. He's like legislative affairs guy. He's worked for Trump. He's a Freemason. He's all this other stuff. I can't keep track of it all. And I don't know how, Liz, you do it either, right? He's also got all this swag, right? So it's not just the positions and the titles. I mean, look at his jacket tonight. He just has to walk like with a 30-degree list, right? So he's kind of just got all that stuff hanging over on the side. He's got this other stuff over here. It looks like, you know, something out of a movie or something that Tom Hanks would be in, that he found those things in, you know, some treasure hunt. Indiana Jones found those things, but I don't know what he's got going on. Again, I can't keep all track of it all. Liz, I'm sure you can't. Look at that. I love me more. There you go. Right. So he counters, like the hat counters the metal. So it keeps him kind of positioned right. So I think that's why he's got to do all that. And then look at the I love me wall back there. I mean, Liz, bless your soul for giving him all that room to put all that stuff up there. But
you only see half of it.
Yeah, there's more over here on the side.
Yes. So another thing I've learned is apparently this guy doesn't sleep, right? So, and he makes no, you know, he doesn't apologize. He's going to let you know that too. So I can't tell you like how many times him and I have had a discussion. He was helping me stand up, you know, my Cutlass Leadership website, or helping me give advice on the Naval Institute or something. And then I wake up the next morning to like 50 taskers, boom, in my inbox, like all this stuff. And it's like dated at 2:30 in the morning. I'm like, what is this guy doing? And what's he doing? So obviously he's up there working constantly in his ops center. So I don't know if that's good or bad, but definitely he's engaged all the time. But honestly, I make fun of those things, but I know they really underlie, although they are true. I think they know, they're just indicators of who Mike is and what he's really about, his passion for his service, his passion for his country, and his passion for the military and veterans and other stakeholders. So you see that really Mike's strongest roles are those as an advocate and an ambassador. And he fulfills both of those roles very well for all the organizations that he's involved in. He doesn't just join those things, as much as I make fun of him, right? He's not just doing it to sign up and get things on his wall. He makes shit happen, and he truly takes pride in his work and getting things done. So the Chief Petty Officer's Creed requires chiefs to be an ambassador of goodwill. And Liz and Mike, you're going to have to listen up, because Liz, you're a chief select. Mike, you're going to be an honorary chief here. And I really want to take time, because we throw that word around. I can't tell you how many times I've heard that read, but I think we don't take time to pause about the importance of being an ambassador and what it takes to be a good ambassador. But I think you do it well, and I want to reflect on that right now. So an ambassador is a person who's hired, who volunteers to represent a brand. So obviously, it could be a nation like our country's ambassadors do. It could be a military service, and it could be as an MSO, VSO, or you can be ambassador for your family as well. But it takes a few things to be an ambassador and to do it right. So the first thing you talk about is, who is Mike an ambassador for, right? And what is he an ambassador for? And in many cases, that's all of us. We're all ambassadors for something. So I see Mike as an ambassador for his country. I see Mike as an ambassador for the U.S. Navy and the U.S. Coast Guard. I've seen Mike as an ambassador for veterans and their families. I've seen Mike as an ambassador for enlisted service members. I've seen Mike as an ambassador for his rating and aviation boatswain mate community. And I've seen Mike as an ambassador for his family. So that is a lot of effort he does. Some of those go together, but some of that he is definitely committed and invests a lot of time in doing this right. So the first thing, there's 6 things that I've kind of come learn that ambassadors have to do or have. So number one, first, they have to have a high level of professionalism. And if anyone's met Mike, they know that he does that well. He is a professional. He knows his trade. He knows his craft. He's informed, and he engages in a professional way and gets things done. Number 2, you got to have knowledge of your brand and know how to market it. So of all those things, if you've been, if you're the president of the Aviation Boatswain Mate Association, he knows that brand and he goes out of his way to market it. And you can't tell me he doesn't. Naval Institute, he does it, right? Any one of us who's been connected with him, whether it was AUSN, whether it was working with him or his job, working with the Republican Party to attract veterans, he takes that on and he does well doing that role. He knows his brand, and he's definitely also going to tell you when you don't know your brand and when you're not doing what you're supposed to do. So I think that's another great attribute he has. Number 3, you got to have an in-person and an online presence. So you got to be engaged face-to-face with people, and you got to use these tools of social media to connect. I think we can see tonight, he definitely does all those. And I know I've seen him in person. That's where I met him. He does that extensively. And he definitely has helped teach me how to use online tools of communication in the ambassador roles that I serve in. So he definitely does that. Leadership skills, right? What is leadership? It's the ability to wield influence to achieve your goals or your organization's goals and to shape the attitudes and people. I don't think we can argue that he does that well, right? He is definitely out there leading and not necessarily in a specific leadership position with the authorities needed. He doesn't need that. He just goes out and gets things done through his connection power, his passion, and other things. So he's definitely a great leader, and he's demonstrated those skills on active duty and since he's gotten out. It requires the ability to gather feedback and provide innovative insight. So he is definitely open to that. He is definitely engaged. He goes out, he's connected to the stakeholders of all the organizations we're involved in and the organizations he's involved in. And he does provide insight and feedback back to the leadership with innovative solutions that he can do. I've personally seen that, and I know he does that. And I think many of you have as well. And then finally, I think you got to have passion. And I don't think we're going to say that Mike doesn't have passion. That's exactly what he has. He's passionate about everything. It comes out in everything he does. And I think he's an inspiration for all of us and a source of that when we run out of passion for the things we're doing. You just call Mike and he'll get you re-energized for what you want to do. So those of us who know Mike know he possesses all these, and regardless of which one of those 100 or so ambassador roles he's filling, he does them all well, and he helps those organizations get better. He is a tenacious advocate for them and their beneficiaries and for us, and he's always willing to help, perhaps even to a fault. But again, that just indicates the character he possesses and the lengths he's willing to go after the things he cares about and he's passionate about on the behalf of our constituents and their families. So definitely Mike is a guy I think you would say you want on your side, right? If you're going after something, you definitely want Mike with you, as the Coast Guard saw when the pay issues were rolling up and many other things that many of you have probably seen him do that I don't have the example or the experience doing. He's a guy you want with you, and he's going to get things done and get things done for the organization. So Mike, I'm so glad we met 5 years ago. I'm so glad for the friendship we developed over those past 5 years. And I'm proud of the work you do for service members, veterans, and their families. So congratulations to you on your 18-year career in the U.S. Navy. You know, we've talked about this. Not all careers end exactly the way you want them to, but you should close this chapter out in a very proud way, knowing that your service and your accomplishments were far-reaching. Good luck to you, Liz, and your family, the Little family at large. All of you should be proud of Mike and what he's done. And thanks again for, again, reaching out and offering me the opportunity to spend this night with you and to say some words. So thanks again and good luck to you.
At this time, Mike, would you like to do the honors on behalf of the mess and acknowledge those mostly adequate remarks?
Damn, Paul, that made me cry. It's been a rough week, and hearing some of that stuff was something I didn't expect hit me so hard. So let me start. My swag, shipmate, is something I'm very proud of, and I will gladly wear it. And yeah, I probably have some swag falling out of my beard here lately, because I have more pins than I know what to do with. But I'm glad you made me think to bring out my Shriners hat. I'm very proud of this. I actually just rejoined the Shriners because it's something that meant a lot to me, because something that I do care about advocating for other than veterans has always been children. And when I first got reconnected with Liz, I was very active in the Shriners. And so something that I've decided this week was that I need to take a break and become more engaged in myself and my family. And I need to get away from everything that I just kind of went through with the campaign. And so I will be taking a small hiatus from social media. I'll still be there for work as I need to be, but something that I've learned in the last 18 years was I did this whole damn thing without a family until the last 10 of it. And the last 10 of it was nothing but a big fight. And while I was able to serve my Navy without a family, fighting the Navy without a family is damn near impossible. And it's something that I need to focus my efforts on. So I decided that I'm going to be removing myself from the Facebook and making myself leave this beautiful office that is full of Navy battles on that wall and Navy history on this wall. I'll leave this office at 4:30 every day, and I'll devote that time to my family until the next morning. So Paul, may not get any more of those late night emails, but I'll still be doing the work that I need to do to continue on the legacy that I've started here of advocating for those things I care about. People asked me why I wanted to have a ceremony because I didn't retire. Well, Colonel Szymanski is going to help me make sure that happens. She's my new lawyer, and I'm excited to have her on my team. So I'm looking forward to that. And maybe one of these days we come back together in another ceremony that is full of a retirement ceremony. Hell, I might even shave my beard and put my uniform back on for that one. But to remark on everything else, I wanted to do this for my family. So this is recording. I will play it someday for my children. Anytime that I start to lose my way, I'll check it out. But I was very proud of my 18 years in the United States Navy. I was proud of every moment of every second of every day, and I remember every waking minute of it. I remember the first time I walked on board the Ronald Reagan, and this lieutenant was up there, and he asked me what I was doing, and I told him I just got here from A school. And he introduced himself as Lieutenant Thornton, and told me he was going to be one of my officers, and I really enjoyed learning from him. And I remember my first handler, Joe Amper, who taught me more life lessons. And I think it's where I get my drive, because I live every moment as if I got a chop hubba hubba, right? Mark, you remember him all the dang time on the MCs, right? And shipmates, it's FOD walk down, chop hubba hubba, and I've never been able to get over that. And he's the reason I joined the Masons. He's the reason I joined the Shriners. And I'm definitely thankful for that. Chris Gimbert's the reason I had internet while I was in Afghanistan. I always remember that. This shipmate did more than that, though. He was a true friend, someone that was with me throughout a lot of hardships, throughout the losing of our shipmate Arvin Wright. We spoke many of evenings together after we lost Alita Bordas and so many others, and DJ'd my wedding. Came all the way from Arkansas to DJ our wedding, and I'll never forget it. Terrence Pinckney was one of my best friends when I joined the reserves. We did so much time together, and I'm thankful for that. But let me tell you what, I left Iraq, and I was a hot mess. We had just lost one of my best friends to suicide right before I left for that mission. I got to training, and I just didn't know how I was going to get through it. And I'll be danged if this big old smiling face came bouncing up and, hey, Mike, and I ran across the parking lot and I gave that dude a big old hug like I hadn't seen him in 3 weeks, because it had been 3 weeks. And I just remembered that was going to get me through. And we became best friends. We bunked together. I'm pretty sure he took advantage of me and the fact that I had a car, because I volunteered to be the male PO so that I could be the duty driver every day of every minute. And how many times did we sneak off Camp Shelby and go to like illegal restaurants? Everyone would be eating at the galley, and me and Terrence and Phillips, we'd be driving to Chinese restaurants.
Yep.
I invited Phillips, and I'm kind of glad he didn't come, because I still can't get insurance on that dude's mouth. Like,
no.
USAA told me no, Geico said they couldn't do it, and Progressive is so damn expensive. So,
yeah.
But Pinckney, you helped me through some nights where I called you crying and upset, and I always appreciate that. But often you're listening to these stories. There will always be bad times in your career, but you will always remember the best times of your career. So don't ever think that the bad times in your career is what makes your career your career. Don't ever let yourself get angry at a supervisor and not re-enlist in the Navy. People leave the Navy all the time because they leave a bad supervisor. People don't leave the Navy because they hate the Navy. They leave the Navy because they hate their supervisor.
Yep.
The aviation bosun mate world, I never hated one of my supervisors. I'm lying about that. I definitely hated one of my supervisors, but I think all the other aviation bosun mates did too. But that's just what we do, man. And Elizabeth, I couldn't do this without you. It started it with you. There was a long time where we weren't together because we went two different ways and married two different people. And I just can't thank God enough for bringing you back into my life, because this last 10 years, I couldn't have done it without you. We wouldn't be here tonight if it wasn't for you. I wouldn't have had the courage to go to Capitol Hill if it wasn't for you. I wouldn't have had the courage to go work in the New York State Senate if it wasn't for you. I wouldn't have had the courage to become a father had it wasn't for you. You gave me beautiful children. You've made me happy. I know it's not been easy because of my PTSD, but I love you more than anything in the world. And you were always there with me. I'm proud of the fact you're about to become a chief. Don't ever stab me with your cutlass that I gave you tonight. By the way, I got the little cutlass. I'm going to bring that up one more time. She got a big cutlass. I got a little cutlass. But I never thought I'd be here 18 years later. I know my parents didn't. I mean, you guys were at my high school graduation, and I know damn well that neither one of you thought that we would end up here with me with a funny hat on talking about my career, right? I see my... Was he trying to say something, or?
Yeah, I think he was.
Yeah. Give him a minute. He's old.
Going off. I had an alarm going off, and I reached for the phone and knocked it off the table. But no, I know how passionate you are, Michael. When you set your mind to something, your heart's always big enough that if you're really into it, you've got the heart to get through it. So we're very proud of you today.
Well, I'm proud of you. Thank you. So, and then I just want to thank everyone for taking the time to be here tonight. Jeff, I saw you and Jackie were here. I know Haley's at a wedding, but we came together because your daughter worked for me, and you want to talk about how relationships and friendships can come from anywhere. Never had I thought that this little girl who was working for me as an advocate would someday be a lawyer advocating for veterans in the VA system. And I definitely didn't expect to get a bunch of friends out of it and another second family. And so we love you and Jackie and the boys. And we're so glad to have you all in our lives. And thank you so much for being here. So, and Kathy, my Aunt Kathy and my Uncle David. Sometimes I just wake up in the morning and I say to myself, why in the hell did I let this guy get me involved in politics? and I thank my Uncle David every day for it, but I am very thankful to have you both in my life, and you have both been extremely encouraging to me as I went through becoming a Catholic, and sponsor me in the Catholic Church and everything that you've done for me. And I know I'm not supposed to be a Mason, but they do good things too. And so I don't always agree with the Catholic Church. And so I decided volunteering at a children's hospital for the Shriners wasn't a bad thing. So here I am with a funny hat on, and the Catholic Church doesn't like it all the time, but I'm also a 4th degree Knight. If you didn't know that, I'm also a 4th degree Knight. And I'm not the only dual Shriner and 4th degree Knight in the world. I know many of them. So, but thank you all very much. I'm going to wrap it up so that we can get to the fun part. This is the part where we're all going to get an opportunity to drink and have a good time. So thank you. By the way, we should just go ahead and take a drink right now, because that was a long speech. Ladies and gentlemen, to Fleet Master Chief Paul Kingsbury, thank you for presenting my career.
Here.
Taking the funny hat off.
Here.
Off goes the funny hat. There you go. So we have some business of the mess left to be done before we get on with the formal part of the program. I would like to start by telling a short little story about what's about to happen, because I know there's a lot of uninitiates in the crowd. So the rules of the mess are very clear, and a dining out and dining in is kind of orchestrated so that everybody can have some fun with some respectful irreverence. And the intent is that they're caught, right? So they try to get away. People try to get away with things like perhaps maybe wearing green shorts under your tuxedo, right? Just as a hypothetical example, I mean, not that any sane person would actually do something like that, but if it were to happen, that would be considered a violation of the mess. And there are plenty of violations of the mess to be seen here. So if you happen to note one of these, and we'll get to this in a little bit, but if you happen to note one of these, when we get to the part of the dining out where it's time to deal with said violations, there's a very prescriptive way to do it. It's a very simple thing. And so I encourage you to join in. If somebody is found to be guilty of a violation of the mess, Madam President will mete out the appropriate justice. That could be a fine, money. It could be a drink, or it could be a trip to the grog bowl. Now, the grog is all remote. I choose the blood of my enemies for my grog. And so everybody should have their own grog. The grog is actually a real Navy thing. So it was basically a barrel back in the days of Iron Men and wooden ships. It was a barrel in which a bunch of lemon peels and all that like stuff was thrown, and it fermented over the course of months and months and months. And as you might well imagine, it was pretty nasty. So a trip to the grog was no small penalty. So now we come to the conclusion of the competition.
Can I say one thing? Anyone who chooses to make a donation, all money will be donated to the Aviation Boatswain Association's scholarship fund. So anyone who chooses to make a donation, that is what we will be donating that to.
So this is intended to be an iterative process of arguing and wits. Mike is uniquely equipped based on his legislative experience, and Yella is uniquely equipped based on her legal and legislative experience. So please feel free to follow along and jump in. There is no way you will have fun unless you jump in. So jump in. So now the cooking competition. I would like everybody to hold up in front of the screen. I'm looking at the big gallery. The things that you acquired during your break. One liquid, one solid. Very good. So now, in honor of what your experience would actually be like, were we in a in-person dining out or dining in, I would like you to pour some of each of those into a glass. And this is your grog. Now, Mike has elected to have Mai Tais. Just saying. So
I used a
there
lot
you
of
go. That's the intent. Yeah, that's the intent of that. Now,
I used Purser's rum.
Yep.
Nice. Pusser's rum, British Navy Pusser's rum. Beautiful, baby. All right. So, hang on a second. I'm catching up on my script here. Madam President, I recommend that we handle violations of the mess and any other accusations that members and guests may wish to bring to the floor.
Mr. Vice, I agree, and I look forward to hearing all violations of the mess.
So guests, ladies and gentlemen, members of the mess, the floor is open to dispense with the violations of the mess. Please.
Mr. Vice, I would like to bring a violation before the mess. If you
Very
don't mind.
well. Madam President, we have a violation of the mess that has been identified.
Well, I have been sitting here for quite a while trying to figure this whole situation out, but Mr. Barry Sanders has been sitting there with a sword in his background, a banjo, and I'm not really sure what's going on, but he looks like he's celebrating Christmas at his house, and he's lost his dinner jacket. And I would like to, I think that that is just unacceptable in this day and age of this virtual dining out, and he should be punished accordingly.
I must say, disrobing in public is, especially if you're sober, which it appears that said member may be, is definitely a violation of the mess. Madam President, would you agree?
Mr. Vice, I do agree. Definitely a violation.
I would recommend that the penalty for said violation would be 1 trip to the grog bowl.
Agreed. I concur.
Sir, would you like to counter against the said accusation?
A Napoleon socks. I shall return.
I don't even know what this
Napoleon
means.
socks. Very well. So since I do not have any elevator music to, oh wait, he's back already. Hey!
What is he drinking?
Buffalo Trace, because I am a Kentuckian.
So you're not even going to deny the fact that you lost your jacket. You're just drinking it.
No, Madam, Mr. Vice, I would like to also bring up a violation, if I may.
That would be Madam President's decision. May said member bring a violation to the floor?
Yes, Mr. Sanders, you may bring a violation to the floor.
It has come to my attention that Mr. Little's trousers have seemed to have disappeared somewhere, or maybe not even appeared at all. And I have on Napoleon socks just for Michael's dining in, and Napoleon and I are offended by his lack of, how do you say, his sans culottes à la française.
So, actually, let Mr. Little, Petty Officer Little, would you like to rebut said accusation?
Nah, my pants just didn't make it here. They're hanging on the closet. They're hanging on the closet door.
It's a pretty simple thing. Madam President.
Let me just go ahead and do this for you.
There you go.
When you're pinched, you're pinched.
To the mess.
Madam President, I also need to identify that there was a violation in the mess as that accusation was being levied, in that Barry was speaking in a code, some kind of odd foreign alien language, which clearly is intended to confound and confuse members of the mess.
He's also like talking a lot about Napoleon.
I agree, Mr. Vice.
What do you feel, Madam President, what do you feel would be the appropriate punishment?
Drink.
I think he should drink to the grog.
Barry, would you like to challenge us?
Yes, Mr. Little brought into, not that this matters, but he was allowed to bring in his Anglo-Irish DNA. I believe my Anglo-French DNA should be allowed to participate as well.
So for those who are here for the first time at a dining out, if a member successfully defends against an accusation of a violation of the mess, then the accusor is fined. So, Madam President, you have a choice.
Well, I think that Mr. Sanders did have a good comeback and a good rebut. So I'm going to make Mr. Little
do the mess.
I'm still going to drink grog anyway.
Oh, good. This is my kind of dining out where somebody else is drinking my fine. This is my kind of deal.
Well, if I may Mr. Vice, if I may address the mess.
It seems to be an ongoing conversation.
Yes, it does. This is not my first dining in. This is actually the third one, but this is my favorite one thus far because it's
Excellent.
Mike's.
To the Littles. So, more violations and/or challenges. I have a list which we can begin rippling through. Should
Mr. Vice, I would like to address the mess.
Madam President?
Permission granted. Address the mess.
I would like to bring forth a violation that I noticed. Maybe it's not a big one, but we're in the middle of a formal dinner, and there was a couple of individuals who have changed clothes in the process of this dinner. And I mean, I don't want to toot my horn or anything, but one of them's a Master Chief, and so Mark Aguirre felt the need to change clothes in the presence of these fine ladies that are here. I believe he stepped off camera. I don't even know what the heck the rank of Chris Gimbert is these days, but I think he's been in 3 different uniforms. And Terrence Pinkney, I can smell that uniform from here. I don't think he's washed it since Afghanistan. Definitely changed in that time frame. I think that is unacceptable. I think they should somehow defend themselves, but I don't know. I mean, I think that it warrants a violation.
Gentlemen,
Mr. Vice, Tech Sergeant Gimbert would like to rebuttal.
please.
Absolutely. Being as though that I am in the Air Force, and I would understand that all Navy traditions don't necessarily transfer over. I am also in a deployed environment, aka my hotel room. So I must frequently change through these said uniforms in order to remain compliant with the Arkansas Air National Guard standards that have been laid in place since I have found my comfortable lazy boy in the branch of service that I currently reside in.
Oh.
Is that a confession or a defense?
There was no confession made. I simply was defending the fact that I have to wear these different uniforms. In fact, I am in a compliance of a uniform right now known as my PT uniform. And what other airmen would wear in such an environment of a hotel but this uniform at this point? I mean, I have to watch the time. I can't miss my times.
Yeah, if Mr. Gimbert is legit, he's got to show us his per diem claim for the dry cleaning on said PT uniform.
Okay. Actually, hold on a minute. I can almost accommodate that. I shall be back.
Well,
Mr. Pinkney, would you like to speak in your defense?
Sure, absolutely. I appreciate that opportunity.
Now, you just got to give me a minute to fill it out, okay? But there it is.
There it is. I would like to address the accuser. Being that Mike Little is a history fan and a fan of nostalgia, I started the evening in a traditional uniform of the day in the spirit of him meeting his lovely wife and the love of his life on board this very same ship. And at that time, it was the uniform of the day, which was the what was it? I had on this uniform at the first. Then I fast forwarded to the uniform of the day when we became friends and roommates. And that is the Army combat uniform with the said patches, so on and so forth, just as a remembrance thing for him, since this is his final day in the Navy. So that's the only reason why I'm doing that. Otherwise, yes, this uniform has been laundered at least once in the last 10 years. This uniform I actually found in a suitcase that was in my storage, and it just happened to have this hat with that flag, you know what that is, along with it. So that's my excuse. I just trying to, make him feel good about it. But if it's a violation, then I'll drink my my beverage here.
Madam President, I'm not the one that gets to make these decisions.
Wait. There's a Master Chief.
Good for Mike
himself.
All right, so Mr. Vice, allow me to address my accuser.
Absolutely, Master Chief.
I have no excuse, but one thing I've learned in the past is if you're wrong, stay wrong. So, but to be honest, On my dress uniform, my mess dress is on board the ship. Surprisingly, my wash khaki does fit a little snug, I might ask, but I did have it hanging, and I did tell Mike, you know what, I'll throw my wash khaki on for you, and we'll throw it back a little bit, because when we parted ways, that's the uniform I donned once we did part ways when I left the Reagan. So I do accept my fine and my accusations. They're accurate. And Mike, if I continue to have the floor here, you know, Mike and Liz, congratulations to you both. We do go back, ironically, 18 years. And truth be told, you know, both were under my charge at one point up there in the bow. And the bow of aircraft carriers is a very, very dangerous place if you've ever been in one. And they made it through. And so it was great to keep in contact with Mike throughout the years. A couple of years went by. I think we ran up together and on the Tarawa. I forget why I was even there, but that was my first ship as well. So we've served on, you know, 2 similar ships together. I also served in Task Group Trident down there in Afghanistan as well. So I'm familiar with some of the shenanigans that took place out there, and it is challenging to get to those things. So I applaud you in all your efforts that you've gone through. I know it's more challenging on your end because I was there as a chief, not as a junior sailor, but you know, conducting detainee operations was no easy task, to say the least. But Mike, yes, you are a sailor through and through. You say what you mean and you mean what you say, and you've never shied away from any conversation. Even when you were a young airman, you were very elaborate and very deliberate with your thought process and what you said. You thought about it, and it was unique to watch and to hear. But I think at the end of it, I was like, shut your mouth, go tight on that jet. You know, so awesome to be here, be part of this process. And we'll sidebar later, but I do have a cheese mess corn from Bagram that I'd like to send you. You know, I'm not sure if you got that, but I would like to say thank you guys, both of you. Again, Liz, congrats on being selected for chief. And this is awesome to do. I might be also facing retirement shortly, just don't know yet. And quick shout out to Papa Great, Mr. Thornton out there. We've served alongside. You know, you were the handler for a little bit. And of course, our current president for the ABMA. So I will gladly accept my fine.
So, Madam President, we have heard 3 rebuttals, 1 accusation, 3 rebuttals. I must say, I'm kind of perplexed at how to make my recommendation to you, ma'am. I think I'll summarize it this way. I think Mike's accusation was thoroughly trounced by all 3 individuals. However, in lieu of making Mike drink 3 times for 3 said trouncings, shipmates stick together. And so my recommendation, ma'am, is that all 4 of them be sent to the grog.
I agree. Even though all intentions behind the accusations and of the violations were good at heart, I believe that they can all go to the grog together and continue
Gentlemen,
to support one another.
Do the mess.
Now, there did seem to be one other one that may have slipped most people's attention, Madam President, in that a dining out is clearly a dinner event. I think everybody would agree that
yes,
a dining out is a dinner event.
Yes.
There seems to be a specific individual who failed to dine during said dining out. Commander Flores, I believe, has not consumed any like substantive physical liquid, perhaps calories, but nothing like food. So I recommend that that he be fined. Commander Flores.
Madam President, in my excuse, the pandemic has definitely made the midsection a little bigger. So I'm really watching what I'm eating. But no, that's just my attempt at being funny. It's not funny. I have no excuse. I accept my my charge, and that's it. There's no excuse.
Madam President.
What? Does he have something to drink of the grog? Do you have grog to drink?
I do.
Please drink to the grog.
It's to all of you.
Mr. Vice, I noticed a charge I would like to bring forth.
Madam President, apparently Mrs. Vice has something that she would like to bring to your attention.
Yes, go right ahead.
Mr. Flores left the Zoom screen for just a moment while someone else was speaking and did not ask for permission to leave the Zoom screen. So I think this is a big problem, that not asking for permission to be dismissed is a big issue.
I concur.
It seems like the good commander is on his way to the grog again, unless he has a rebuttal that he would like to offer.
I do not have.
Master Chief probably called him.
I do not have a rebuttal. Once again, as a LDO, I accept it. I totally accept my my infraction, and there's no excuse.
You may drink to the grog again, Commander. Like I'm just telling everyone to drink.
Other violations that people would like to note.
Mr. Vice, this is a retired or just tired Master Chief Niblack, sir. I have a violation I'd like to bring to order here.
Retired, as in tired all over again. I totally understand that, Master Chief. Madam President, the good Master Chief, who's tired all over again, would like to speak with you.
Yes, Master Chief, you may bring your concerns.
I have a charge, sir. It's probably pretty small, and I apologize ahead of, but I've been sitting here watching a young fireman apprentice in a perfect uniform, fireman apprentice rock coal, and I've been jealous. I have been judging my desire to get out of the Navy when I did. I only put in 40 years. Damn it, I should have put in some more. And that young man has just made me feel jealous all night. And I've noticed he's probably stuck in a barracks there somewhere. So if he can't drink his grog, by God, I'll be glad to drink a cup for him.
He's 18.
There's that.
So, Mr. Rockel, would you please unmute your mic?
Hello.
Madam President, it would seem that we have somebody in our midst who is making all of us feel very old and very envious of starting a career once again. So I'm at a little bit of a loss. I'm not sure exactly how I should recommend that the good young Mr. Rockel would be fined or punished. Do you? Madam President, I would recommend that we just open it to the floor for suggestions.
Oh, sir, this is the Master Chief again. He looks like a fine young man, and I think he should look right in the camera and say, "Okay, boomer."
Okay, boomer. Hilarious.
I would like to specifically highlight something there, Austin. When a Master Chief makes a recommendation, it's really not a recommendation.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out why you didn't say anything yet.
Oh. That, yep. Okay, boomer.
Well done, fireman apprentice from an old machinist mate.
Nice.
Well done.
Thank you, Master Chief.
In honor of the beginning of a new Navy career so well infused with Navy tradition as to attend a dining out, I would recommend, Madam President, that you send everybody to the grog in said young man's honor.
I was about to agree, Mr. Vice. Everyone to the grog for one of our newest members.
Just try and
That's
drink
the grog?
wine. Drink the
Fine.
grog.
Thank you, guys.
So I feel like the night is starting to. Mr. Thornton seems to be struggling with his grog.
What was that?
Is that a violation?
The spontaneous combustion to the grog.
He actually did.
Mr. Vice.
Yes.
I would like to actually ask permission to briefly switch devices so I could leave from one and go to the other and not kill my battery, but I don't want to be in violation. So I'd like to make sure I do this correctly.
Madam President, is that acceptable?
That is acceptable, Mr. Vice.
Please.
All right.
Surrendered.
Then I shall be back.
Are there other violations of the mess that people would like to raise? Very well. Hearing none and seeing that the hour is growing late, Madam President, I recommend that we proceed to the official toasts and begin the rounds of formal toasting. Shall we wait for the good tech sergeant to return?
Yeah, he's part of it.
All right. So let's pause for a moment as we all prepare for the rounds of formal toasting.
Excellent, sir.
Oh, shit. I saw that movie. Fighter pilots make headlines, bomber pilots make history. I saw that.
There you go. It's a better book. The acting was a little wonky in the movie.
All right, he's back.
Have we returned, Tech Sergeant?
I am back. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. So I will make the motion again. Madam President, I move that we proceed to the rounds of formal toasting.
Mr. Vice, in keeping with tradition, I propose the first toast of the evening to the Commander-in-Chief of the United States.
The Commander-in-Chief.
To the Commander-in-Chief.
Here,
Here.
Here.
Mr. Vice, I request permission to address the president and offer a toast.
Please.
Madam President, to the Joint Chiefs of Staff.
To the Joint Chiefs of Staff.
Joint Chiefs of Staff.
Here. Here.
Mr. Vice, I request to address the president and the mess to offer another toast.
Please, Colonel.
To the United States Marine Corps.
To the
United States Marine Corps.
here.
Here.
Mr. Vice, I would like to address the president and the Chiefs mess, please.
Sergeant, please.
Here's to the Air Force.
The United
To the Air
Air Force.
Air Force.
Air Force.
Here.
Mr. Vice, I request permission to offer a toast to the United States Coast Guard.
To the United States Coast Guard.
Here.
Here.
Mr. Vice, I request permission to address the president and offer a toast.
Please proceed.
Madam President, to the Chief of Naval Operations and the Master Chief Petty Officer of the Navy.
To the Chief of Naval Operations and Master Chief Petty Officer of the Navy.
Here.
Here.
Mr. Vice, I request permission to address the president and offer a toast.
Please.
To our ships and submarines at sea.
To our ships and submarines at sea.
Here.
Yeah.
Mr. Vice, I request permission to address the president and offer a toast.
Please proceed.
To the Navy and Coast Guard, to the Navy, Coast Guard, and Marine Corps units abroad.
To our Navy, Coast Guard, and Marine Corps units abroad.
Here.
Yeah.
Mr. Vice, I request permission to address the president and offer a toast. A lot of people didn't
Yes,
show up.
Mr. Little.
A lot of people didn't show up. To the United States Army.
To the United States Army.
Yeah.
Hooah.
I request permission to address the president and offer a toast.
Yes.
The United
Yes,
States
Will.
Space Force.
The Space Force. Here.
Here. Terrence, you're on.
Mr. Vice, I request permission to address the president and offer a toast.
Mr. Pinckney, please proceed.
Madam President, fellow warriors, guests, I too have a toast. I would like to direct your attention to the table where a place has been set for those who have gone before us and those who remain unaccounted for. Okay, switch over. There we go. Thank you. The military way of life is filled with much symbolism, and this table provides a way to gather with members of our profession, whom we call brothers and sisters, that are unable to be with us this evening. The table is smaller than the others, symbolizing the frailty of one prisoners alone against their oppressors. The white tablecloth represents the purity of their response to our country's call to arms. The empty chair depicts an unknown face representing no specific soldier, sailor, Marine, or airman, but all who are not here with us. The table is round to show that our concern for them is never ending. The Bible represents a faith in a higher power and the pledge to our country, founded as one nation under God. The black napkin stands for the emptiness warriors have left in their hearts of their families and friends. The single red rose reminds us that their families and loved ones, and the red ribbon represents the love of our country, which inspired them to answer the nation's call. The yellow candle and its yellow ribbon symbolizes the everlasting hope for a joyous reunion with those yet unaccounted for. The slice of lemon and the bread on the plate reminds us of their bitter fate. The salt upon the bread plate represents the tears of their families. The wine glass turned upside down reminds us that our distinguished comrades cannot be with us to drink a toast or join in the festivities this evening. They dine with us with it in spirit only, those who have died so that we may live, our former comrades who have earned the glory and have given us the respect and pride that the service members hold so dear. Let us honor our fellow warriors who have gone before. Madam President, a toast to all comrades remaining missing or have died for our beloved country. You're here.
Here, here.
You're here.
Toast. Honored guests, members of the mess, we will now toast with water instead of wine. Wine is unavailable to prisoners, and water is a luxury. As we solemnly toast, please raise your glasses. We will pause for a moment of silence. To our missing and fallen comrades.
Our missing and fallen comrades.
Missing and
seats. The floor is now open for informal toast and additional charges and violations.
So I would like to, Madam President, I would like to raise one additional violation that I have noticed across the evening, which is that it is a clear violation of the mess to offer a toast to specific individuals. Not that it is improper in specific situations, but it is absolutely and unequivocally a violation of the mess. So, although many have already left who have performed such violation, the gentleman sitting immediately to your right, I believe, deserves to be fined for his multiple toasts to specific said individuals.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree, Mr. Vice. You may drink from the grog.
My party to the mess and all the people that came tonight.
Here, here.
God, I almost drank this whole thing. I'm gonna regret this tomorrow.
I would like to offer a formal, informal toast, Madam President.
You may, Mr. Vice.
Behind all service members, there are family members, spouses, brothers, sisters, parents, aunts, uncles, cousins, and family who are not genetically connected. To the family that enables us to defend the Constitution of the United States.
Here, here.
Here.
Family.
Mr. Vice, an opportunity for a toast.
Master Chief.
This is directed at Mike, but mostly Mrs. Little. I can't imagine being a chief and a mother at the same time. It's beyond my comprehension. It was tough enough being a dad. And obviously, my Navy wife was a great Navy wife, but to be a Navy mother, it must be amazing to know what you're capable of. And I can't wait once you put on the hat to just call you chief.
Thank you very
To
much.
Mrs. Little.
Thank you.
Mrs. Little.
Mr. Vice, I'd like to make an informal toast.
Please, Mr. Little.
I'm only gonna make one, but I got 15 I'd like to make. This is to all my shipmates I've lost to suicide. All 15 of them that couldn't be here with me tonight, but I know that they're with me in spirit. Love all 15 of them. I wish they would have reached out for help, but we had a hell of a time when we were in the desert. I miss them all. So to my fallen shipmates, and God love them.
Here, here.
Mr. Vice, I have an informal toast I want to share.
Yes, Mr. Pinckney, please.
Thank you, sir. I came on a little bit late, but I just want to direct this at Mike and Liz. You've come a long way, man. And I told you a little bit about this at your wedding. You've come a long way in your life. Just the things that you've been able to accomplish, more so because of the hurdles that you had to overcome to accomplish those things, man. I just want to let you know that I'm gonna always be proud of you. No matter what, I always got your back, as always. I don't have to talk to you every day or see you every day, and that's okay. But when I do, it's always a great thing, man. And for you, Liz, you're essentially the best thing that's happened to him, because he was dealing with so much for so long. And I still remember the day he called me and told me he was going to drive to Buffalo, when everybody else told him that he was probably crazy. And I said, man, do what your heart feels. I remember him driving. I remember he told me he was driving out there to see you and see if he can make this thing work, not knowing if it actually would. I said, man, do what your heart tells you to do. It doesn't matter, man. You only get one shot at this thing called life. And you got to take your shot, bro. And you hit a home run. So I'm a baseball guy. You hit a home run, and I'm so proud of you, man. You've done so many things, so many conversations we had about so many things. I'm just proud to call you a friend of mine and a brother, man. I love you, man. I just want to let you know that. And to the best is yet to come.
Thank you. Thank you for your support. Thank
best.
you.
To the best to come.
Mr. Vice, informal toast, please.
Absolutely. Please proceed.
So this one is definitely to my friend Michael there. And I also want to actually put one out there for everybody that's here that took the time to participate in this. It sounds like, you know, a lot of people didn't believe in something that they could have. I think this is so amazing. I really do. I wish I could have been here on time at the very beginning of it. Like I said, I got held up at work, but this truly is amazing, and I'm very happy for you. Happy for the both of you. It was such an honor meeting the missus at the wedding. We had so much fun. We really did. It was just so amazing to meet you and to see the smile that she brings to your face and the happiness.
Absolutely.
And the talks that we've had late at night, you know, talking about things that I've got and things that you've got going on. And you've been a good friend. So I can go on and on, but here's to you, here's to the two of you, and here's to everybody that's here.
Here, here.
Here.
Here, here.
Madam President, I need to point out a violation of the mess. Mr. Gimbert, you are on duty now, yes?
I am not on duty at this point, no, sir.
Okay. But
Wait. You used that as a rebuttal earlier.
Well, now hold on. Now I said I just got off of duty and I changed to my off-duty uniform to relax.
Totally. Here's the violation I would like to bring to your attention.
What the hell did they give you an off-duty uniform?
I'm in the Air Force. Come on, man.
You're really helping me so much. You just don't even know. So Mr. Gimbert just said that he was late because he was at work. And I would like to point out that he failed to use the appropriate air quotes because he should have said work.
Oh, wow. Mr. Vice, if I may rebuttal.
Absolutely, please.
So despite the thought that me being in Fort Smith, Arkansas would not be participating in anything of significance, my top secret mission involves fighting the Taliban and other associated friends in otherwise referred to as sandal wearing individuals on a daily basis. If anybody doesn't know, I work with drones. So I was actually tied up in fixing a computer issue that just saved the world. So
Can we just make him drink? Because he's just going to keep talking.
I unfortunately, with my clearance, cannot give you any more information at this time.
Thank God.
I'll be glad to drink to that.
There you go.
Quit. Here's the Chris not talking.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. Okay.
Yes, Commander Flores, was that you?
That's correct. I'd like permission to talk to Madam President on a violation on you, sir.
Oh.
But I'm Mr. Vice.
Yes, Commander Flores.
Okay. All right, please, Madam President.
Commander, look what he does.
Madam President,
naughty.
I'd like to point out a violation on Mr. Vice on that flight suit as a force handler and as a handler on the Vincent and the USS Harry S. Truman and Theodore Roosevelt. Those sleeves need to be rolled down at all times for safety violations.
Wow. Wow. Oh, right.
So may I counter?
Sure.
Don't answer that so quickly because I got to come up with something because he's right.
How would he look like Tom Cruise if he doesn't?
Fair enough.
Thank you, Mrs. Vice. Yes, Madam President, it is true that my sleeves are supposed to be rolled down at all times. However, that would presuppose that my intent for wearing said flight suit was to go flying, when in fact, the intent of wearing said flight suit is to woo my wife.
Oh, damn.
Mrs. President, may I address you?
Are you about to tell us your wound?
I think he gets a pass on this one. I'm just saying.
She's feeling wooed.
I've drank like 2/3 of a bottle of wine. He should probably get a pass.
I'm going to tell you.
I support that lady.
Help that out. Help him out. Help her out.
I'm going to probably make a lot of people upset, but from wife to wife, I'm not going to make you drink because of what your lovely wife said.
Dude is bright red.
Saved by my wife again.
He's feeling wooed.
Yeah.
Oh, this is great.
Ladies and gentlemen of the mess, are there any other violations and/or informal toasts?
Mr. Vice, I'd like to propose an informal toast.
Please, Mr. Sanders.
Michael Little, I have known you since you were 15 years old. You were dropped off in my care at Royce C. Manchester. And I looked at you dressed in your Sunday best. And I said, oh my God, what have I gotten into? From that point, we have only become better friends. I know that at 3 o'clock in the morning, if I need help, I call you and I get it. I know if you know the same thing, and I don't know what to say. Here's to you, Mike. Here's to you, Liz. I don't know what I would do without you. You're lifesavers.
Love you, Barry.
You're here.
Yeah.
Here.
I gotta be careful. My grog's almost gone.
Mm.
I can send you some of mine through FedEx.
Imagine.
Mr. Vice, I'd like to point out a violation, please.
Absolutely, Mr. Gimber.
I feel appalled at the fact that Mr. Little came to his own party without properly preparing with a grog that could have sufficed to last the entire occasion. And
Stand
so I feel
by.
like it's a major
Stand
issue.
by. I have more than enough grog. I just do not want to drink them.
Mr. Gimbert, I am in complete agreement. And I was thinking the same thing. Because there is alternative beverages to be consumed does not indicate that he was properly prepared with said grog. It just indicates that he had a poor backup idea because he's overconsumed on the grog. So, Madam
I
President,
was supposed to share this with my wife. And
violent agreements.
You drink, is that the last sip of grog?
Mr. Vice, may I say a word in support of Mr. Little?
Master Chief, please.
As a Scotsman, sir, as a fellow Scotsman, he is incapable of being drunk, sir. His behavior on imbibing too much alcohol is just being friendly.
Yes.
Here, here.
Here, here.
Mr. Vice, may I give an informal toast?
Absolutely, please.
Well, Mike, I have become your friend quite a few years ago. I was at your wedding. It's been quite an adventure. You're an amazing guy. Love your family. Love you. I want to give you a toast before my battery runs out on my device and I get kicked off and commit a violation. So to you, sir.
Thanks, Chopper. Glad you were here.
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 Have a good rest of the evening. I'm afraid I have to step out. Thank you.
See you, brother.
See ya.
Members, ladies and gentlemen of the mess, guests, are there any other informal toasts or violations to be dealt with?
May I address the mess?
Mr. Hart, absolutely. With a beard like that, you can do pretty much anything you want.
Does he have swag in there?
Well, we will start out with, Mr. President, are you aware of the certain gentleman next to you association with Tara O'Neill of Celtic Woman?
Know that he's a fan.
I don't know what that means.
Oh, that's not exactly the word for it. Tara O'Neill is the violinist of Celtic Woman, of which Michael has this fascination with, shall we say. And when he saw a picture of me, with her with my arm around her waist, he proceeded to threaten to kill me.
I did not.
Yes, you did. Upon which I laughed at him, told him to give it his best shot. He then proceeded to request that next time I saw him, that I would rub his head with the hand that was around her waist.
This guy has never invited one of my parties. It's horrible.
Now,
Mr. Hart, I feel compelled to remind you that this is being recorded for replay in front of children.
I'm keeping it clean. I'm keeping it clean. Now, it was a matter of, I will be in DC in October to go to the Renaissance Fair, which I believe Michael is aware I enjoy so very much. And if you would like to go and be escorted around the fair, it would be my pleasure to do so. With that, to the two of you, good luck.
Dave, thank you. By the way, Dave, I took her to see Celtic Women last year. It was great.
Hey, this is the way you were lucky because you must have seen it before the pandemic hit.
It was. It was in
right
December,
before.
right before.
Yep,
Yep.
right before.
Beautiful.
Mr. Vice,
Yes.
I have a violation I would like to point out. As I look at my Zoom, I see that Mr. Barry Sanders is looking at his cell phone and not paying attention. So I'd like to call him out on that.
Mr. Sanders, are you somehow bored by the revelry produced by said dining out?
Negative. But as our Air Force
Strong
friend
rebuttal.
as our Air Force friend has pointed out in some of his talk, I am a technology person, and unfortunately, when my boss emails me, I have to answer.
So
unfortunately, so I give my apologies in advance.
So you're clearly time sharing in order to be here. So this is really more of a sacrifice than it is anything else.
But also, I would like to mention that when Mr. Little called me on Friday, I got up from my meeting with her and said, I have to take this call.
He did.
Oh.
So when I was talking on the phone to Michael on Friday, I basically told my boss to hold. So
Might have earned him.
you might have owed her that email.
There is the potential that Mrs. Vice's accusation was poorly informed, but that's up to the president. Madam President.
I am not denying I was emailing. I'm not denying.
Mr. Vice, I have some comment to that.
Yes, please,
For
please.
consideration to the president, to Madam President. So
Please.
considering that the official SOE we wrote had us wrapping up at 21:30, I can see why Mr. Sanders would have expected to have to conduct work business and personal business almost an hour past that time. So I sense that he should be forgiven for that violation.
I agree with you, Master Chief.
Fair enough.
I do.
I'm still going to drink grog anyway.
All three of them drink.
He's
Yeah, we'll drink anyway.
I think all three of them drink.
everyone's drinking.
It's how you
All
play
right.
the game, not whether you win or lose.
So given that we are an hour past our timeline, thankfully nobody is renting space, so we don't have to worry about being kicked out. Are there any other informal toasts?
Yes, Mr. Vice, I'd like to make a toast.
Steele, please.
I would like to make a toast to our fathers and grandfathers, those who fought in World War II, known collectively as the greatest generation, and to our children and grandchildren who are in service today, known as the next generation. To the generations.
Here.
Here.
I should have said fathers and mothers, excuse me, because my mother also served.
So any other informal toasts from the floor? Hearing none, Madam President. Yes, I'm sorry, Shauna,
That's
go
okay.
ahead.
I apologize. Mike, I'd like to make a toast to you. We have only known each other for just a little while, but I've grown to appreciate you as a friend, a shipmate, and I've watched you grow as a father, as a husband, as a veteran advocate, and I can appreciate you. I can appreciate you as a friend, and I want to congratulate you. So, to your 18 years in the Navy. Here.
Yeah.
Here.
I couldn't see him, so I didn't know what I was saying. I was looking right at this guy.
You did good. Okay, so any other informal toasts to be offered? Madam President, seeing as there are no more toasts to be had, I'll pause there in case anybody wants to jump in. And the internet has been properly and positively influenced by a few hours of Navy heritage. I would offer that it is time to adjourn and light the smoking lamp.
Thank you very much, Mr. Vice. I do want to say a few things before we adjourn. I want to thank everyone for coming tonight to support Mike in his 18-year career. I'm sure there are many, many more stories and that everyone here could be sharing right now. Every one of us has a million stories with Mike, myself included. So I thank you again for all the kind words. I did learn a couple things about him tonight. But truly, we are honored that everyone was able to come and share this. I know that it's been a long road and very, very well deserved for Mike, and he definitely has a lot more that he will continue with his new chapter in his life with the Coast Guard Chief Warrant Officer Association. So but I wanted to, as a shipmate, as a wife, I wanted to just say a few words with my appreciation. 2004, I reported aboard the USS Ronald Reagan. He was my first supervisor. I don't know if I was really made for that job as aviation's bosun's mate, but he did not show me any favors. He was extremely fair. He was tough, but I grew a lot as a young 19-year-old in the Navy and the military in general. I'd never left my hometown and didn't know what I was getting into, but with his help and his leadership, I learned a lot. Even after we did part ways in the military, 8 years later, we did meet back up again. And since then, everything has changed and for the better, a million times over for the better. He found me in a different branch in the Coast Guard, and there were definitely those many jokes and yeah, many jokes. But I know at the end of the day, he definitely supports me, and he's been an amazing shipmate, friend, husband, father, very inspirational to everyone that meets him and he comes across. It's very, like everyone says, very, very relevant, very like just very obvious from as soon as you talk to him that he is passionate in what he does and he believes in what he's doing and for the people that he advocates for. Me personally, I can't believe I'm about to make chief. I couldn't have done that without him. Yeah, sorry. I'll have too much of the grog. No, but in all seriousness, he has been my rock. He's been my support. Sorry. Yeah, I'm just so thankful. And I don't know if I say that enough. So extremely thankful. And I know he has given our kids something to look forward to and aspire to be. So yeah, didn't mean to get like that at the end of the night, but I'm just very thankful to Mike, to all of you for making him into the man he is today. And yeah, thank you very much.
Here, here. Here.
Huzzah!
So with that, I'm going to adjourn the mess for the evening. Members and guests, the evening's formalities are thusly concluded. The smoking lamp is lit. Please feel free to stay and chat if you wish and have any sidebars that you may want to have or anything that you didn't want to say in the group, or just continue with Mike. Thank you very much for coming tonight. Adjourned.